Welcome to creation. You've entered a world of epic passions, heroism, and betrayal. It is the stage for the legends of the Exalted. Mortals raised up and granted phenomenal power as the chosen of the gods. It is a world of miracles where countless gods, elementals, and other spirits dwell alongside mortals, overseeing the world's natural order, or using their power to extort wealth, service, and worship. It is a place where mortal kingdoms rise and fall, drawing strength from stolen magic, wealth, labor, and human cunning. The Exalted stand between the worlds of spirit and mortal. For all their power, the Exalted are undeniably human, subject to all the joys and pains that humanity brings with it. With their heroism and villainy, they may save creation from its many enemies, or see it utterly destroyed. I bid thee greetings, dragon-blooded and lunars, Sidriels and Solars. I am Patrick, but if you listen to the whispers coming from the juniper tree, it will tell you can found the internet as PattyShanks_, and I am the storyteller for this. This is session 1 of our short story run of Exalted Essence, published by Onyx Path Publishing, and available for backing on Kickstarter right now. Starting today?
No, starting Thursday at 2.
Starting Thursday. All right, so extra hype because you have to wait 2 more days and keep the anticipation going. But yes, this is being brought to you by Vorpal Tales. We are on lots of places on the internet. Of course, we are on Twitch right here, right now. Consider giving us a follow or subscribe. Check out all of our social medias at Vorpal Tales, where you can get updates about the cast and our goings-ons. A website, vorpaltales.com, where you can get links to our affiliates and see our up-to-date calendars. A Patreon, where if you feel so inclined, you can toss a coin to us in order to make more, better, and Vorpal Tailier content. And not only are we a role-playing group, but we are writers as well. Check us out on Drive Through RPG and DM's Guild. I'd like to thank Onyx Path Publishing for making an incredible world and setting to use to amaze and delight. Also to Astral Tabletop for being our virtual tabletop and platform for our players to roll their dice. A thank you goes to Vinswept, a wonderful YouTube channel that has amazing music to set your adventure to. Additionally, Vorpal Tales has some other fantastic sponsors that include Q Empire, Hit Point Press, and Jim Hammer & Sons. Go ahead and check out our website and get all kinds of information. Visit the store, use our discount codes, Vorpal Tales, and it's going to be awesome. Alright, viewers, let's meet our Exalts, who look to bring about change in their own individual ideals to the land of creation, where peace is balanced at the point of a knife. Please state your name, where people can find you on the internet, and who you'll be playing tonight.
Hey everybody, I'm Ever. My pronouns are they, them, and tonight... you can find me all over the internet as Changeling Ever, and tonight I shall be playing Athanasios Meripin, who... His pronouns are also they, them, and they are a marrow-liminal.
Hello, everybody. I am Steve. You can find me on the internet at Voodoo Arcade, and tonight I am playing the inspiring application of technique and leverage. Not the inspiring application of technique and leverage. Goes by Lev. Player pronouns he, him. Character pronouns they, them. And they are a soulstone alchemical.
Soul Steel, but yeah.
Soul Steel, sorry.
You were close. Hi, I'm Dixie Cocker, and you can find me all over the internet at Dixie Cyanide. My pronouns are she, her. Tonight I will be playing the thrice-forsaken widow wreathed in the promise of oblivion, who otherwise goes by the Promise. Her pronouns are also she, her, and she is a midnight abyssal.
Hello all, I am Devin. You can find me online at Sword of Sullied, and tonight I am playing Cyrus with my familiar Mavash, and I am a Changing Moon Lunar.
Hey there, Snicker Snacks. I am Phase Horde PJs. I will be playing the Solar Exalted Most August Rising Sun Fists. His friends call him Augie, and this is my familiar Diaclave.
I love that Diaclave got on camera to be introduced.
I know, right?
Hi, Diaclave.
That is Nunchuck. His pronouns are he, him, and he's playing Diaclave, whose pronouns are... I don't know, Sean, what are his pronouns?
His pronouns are Diaclave. Insane.
Alrighty. Before we delve into our story tonight, let us take a moment to remember that many people in the world today are combating real-life monsters of their own. May is a month dedicated to ALS, otherwise known as Lou Gehrig's disease, and spreading awareness and donations, as there is no current cure for it. It is also National Mental Health Awareness Month, where we should take a moment to self-check ourselves, check in on our friends, and break the stigma of mental health issues. Additionally, and most personally, it is Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month. This is also a disease that has no cure yet, but thanks to awareness and research, great strides have been made to improve lifespans and quality of life. And my last item before we get into the goodness that is Exalted Essence. All these monthly causes I touch on throughout the year go to show that there are tons of friends, families, and strangers that have life just a tad bit harder. So things like COVID can have a much bigger impact on them than you. If you could do something as simple as get a shot, shouldn't you? Wouldn't you? To keep others safe and make their lives safer, easier, and simpler. As of May 12th, everyone over the age of 12 is allowed to get the COVID vaccine in the United States. Please consider signing up and doing so. All right, and now that I'm off my soapbox, let's get into the wonderful world of Exalted Essence. Exalted Essence welcomes new and returning fans of Exalted alike to the world of creation. This wonderful Kickstarter that will be coming Thursday at 2, I'm assuming PM Eastern Standard Time?
Yes, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when our Kickstarter start.
Perfect. So everyone should fight to be the first backer. This wonderful Kickstarter will open the doors to the wonder and majesty of epic heroes striding across a fantasy world like no other. They tangle with threats, physical, emotional, and structural, far greater than those of everyday mortals. Essence condenses the high-flying action of Exalted third edition into an easily digestible version so that storytellers can guide new players on their first steps towards incredible adventures. Its pages will provide a general overview of creation, Exalted's unique setting, alongside rules for playing all 10 Exalt types. The book is going to be completely compatible with Exalted third edition and all of its subsidiary books. Now, let's talk a little bit about creation. Creation is a world of epic passions, heroism, and betrayal. It is the stage for the legends of the Exalted, mortals raised up and granted phenomenal power as the chosen of the gods. It is a world of miracles where countless gods, elementals, and other spirits, as we'll soon find out, dwell alongside mortals, overseeing the world's natural order, or using their power to extort. The Exalted stand between the worlds of spirit and mortal. For all their power, Exalted are undeniably human. The Exalted are the chosen of the gods, imbued with a fragment of their divine patron's own essence. This power, the gift of exaltation, magnifies their talents many times over and grants them miraculous abilities to rival and even surpass the gods. Each Exalt is the heir of a grand and terrible legacy left by the Exalted of ages past, but each also has the freedom to write their own legend upon this world. Though created for war, the Exalted are not just warriors. They are priests and god kings, whose words can inspire and uplift millions or calm the fiercest battles. They are sages and sorcerers, capable of building palaces of living glass and raising entire cities into the sky. They are spies and saboteurs, thieves and tricksters, the living embodiments of cunning and secrecy. They are emissaries between the world of mortal and spirit, peacemakers and lawgivers whose light can guide empires to greatness or ruin. With these seemingly infinite talents, the Exalted built an era of splendor known as the First Age. It was a time of beauty and bounty as the Exalted tamed the wild land of creation and brought all mortal kind under their protection. For thousands of years, the Exalted ruled over the world from their paradise city of Meru, sharing those in their domains with the gifts of long life, security, and comfort. This was an age for poets and dreamers, savants and sorcerers. From their palaces, the Exalted created breathtaking art and impossible artifice to enrich and transform creation. In the last days of the Divine Revolution, the ancients planted the seeds of their revenge. With their dying breaths, those who were slain in the rebellion levied a powerful curse upon the gods, one that rebounded on their Exalted instead. This great curse exists in every Exalt, tempting them to give in to wickedness and indulge their vices, to conquer and corrupt, to vent their rage on the world and its people. In the halcyon days of the First Age, the great curse stoked paranoia and mistrust, fueled an unquenchable thirst for conquest, and made the Exalted callous to the needs of mere mortals. As the god kings of the First Age, the curse took its heaviest toll on the Solar Exalted. It drove them to feats of rage, domination, and pride as they imposed their burning will upon a world that had no defense against them. In the throes of the Great Curse, the Solars of the First Age might smite their enemies with merciless sorcery, cast aside those they loved and trusted, or strike desperate bargains for power and knowledge with creation's deadliest enemies. For fear of solar cruelty and excess, the Dragon-Blooded, guided in secret by the Sidriels, rose up against their lieges in a massacre known as Usurpation. Before the solar exaltations could empower their next incarnations, they were sealed away, lost to the world for millennia. A handful of Solars escaped this binding, only to find themselves creation's greatest fugitives, hunted across centuries and incarnations by the Dragon-Blooded and Sidriels. The First Age ended as it began, with betrayal and bloodshed. In the wake of the usurpation, the Dragon-Blooded claimed dominion over the world. The Lunar Exalted withdrew to the four directions of creation and built empires of their own, drawing a line in the sand which the Dragon-Blooded could not cross. The Sidriels retreated to heaven, using a forbidden magic to conceal their involvement in the usurpation. Thus began the Second Age. With creation at the brink of disaster, a new age of heroes has begun. For the first time since the usurpation, eclipse darkened the midday sky. The Solar Exalted had begun to incarnate en masse, freed from whatever prison kept them locked away. This new generation of Solar Exalted carry the light of hope into creation, bringing with them a promise of a First Age reborn. But the Solars did not return to creation alone. In the dark heart of the underworld, ancient ghost kings known as the Death Lords have lifted up mortal champions as the Abyssal Exalted. In the prison city of Malpheus, the demon princes have anointed their own Infernal Exalted, filled with the fury of hell itself. Both were crafted from the stolen solar exaltations, corrupted to serve their new, sinister purposes. Creation will not welcome the return of the Solars and the rise of their wicked cousins. For millennia, the immaculate faith of the Dragon-Blooded have demonized all other Exalted as anathema, heretics who steal power from the gods. Bands of Dragon-Blooded warriors, wise, immaculate monks, and seasoned soldiers track down and slay anathema in a tradition known as the Wild Hunt. Even in its current state, the realm and its nobles hold fast to this tradition, for they know a single rogue exalt can alter the destiny of entire nations. So, players, this is creation as it stands today. A land where ancient wonders slumber, calling out to their long-lost masters from secret caches and dusty tombs. It is a place where the greatest empire in the world, one built on betrayal and slaughter, teeters at the edge of a bloody war between kin. It is an age of sorrow and struggle where the return of the Solar Exalted may rekindle the light of hope and exalted heroes across the world, or doom all life to an era of unending tragedy. So, now that you know a little bit about creation, the world that Exalted is in, the history of the world of creation and the Exalted, and where things lie right now, let us welcome our Exalts who will be playing tonight, who look to help creation and guard its people. So we'll start with Steve. Steve, tell us a little bit about your Exalt, your character's name, what type of Exalt you are, and what that means, and kind of where you lay as far as in relation to other Exalts.
And don't worry, I'm here to help if you get tripped up, I promise.
Thank you.
I'm here for you.
As well as any information you would tell us about your advantages or your specific caste or anima or anything else that makes you unique.
There's a lot of things that make me unique. So let me tell you something about technique and leverage. All right? Okay. So, yes, I am playing Inspiring Application of Technique and Leverage. They are they are an exalted grappler. Let's put it that way.
You're a Mantis-style martial artist.
Yes, a Mantis-style martial artist, exactly. So I am playing Alchemical, specifically of the cast Soul Steel. So that gives me a couple of specific advantages, such as making me a living artifact and bringing community spirit. I am not a mortal raised to be an Exalt. I am actually a machine. I was crafted and built. Every alchemical is built specifically from one of the different metals. So the casts are the different types of material that makes up the alchemical. Mine being soul steel, it's this very deep black metal. Does it actually have souls inside of it? Did I read that correctly?
Yes. So soul steel is a little weird. It is definitely forged. I do believe in the underworld and does include souls. Because of the makeup of our party, we actually have 3 different Exalt types who are resonant with soul steel, which doesn't really mean anything mechanically, but it can mean something narratively if you want to do. Because Ever, myself, and Lev are all soul steel resonant characters.
Awesome. So with alchemicals, their charms work a little bit different from other exalts in that they are actually, think of them like plugging in different floppy disks.
Yeah, they're installed.
Yeah, I install charms into me, and I can actually take a charm out and put a different charm in. But once I take one out, I have no access to it at all. It's like I never knew it. I just completely lose that charm.
But you can put it back in.
But then I can put it back in later and get it back, exactly. So I can hot swap charms between scenes, I believe, is what you need, or do a dramatic rewrite, I think is the other way to do it, probably during scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the big thing about them. They can only have certain charms at a time, not to get into the specifics of that. But community spirit is also the big aspect of the alchemical. They have a deep need to find community, and I have found a very specific community that I fight for. Lev is champion of the world. No one's taken this title away from him. Okay? And he travels around, both with his circle, but also with a pack of adoring fans that look to him for inspiration, and he fights for them. And he draws on the power of all the, I don't want to say 11 maniacs, but of all of his fans to overcome.
You should work with the Twitch audience to figure out what your fans are called.
That's a good plan.
Levers? They can be levers.
Levers. Ooh.
They help lift you to new heights.
Oh yeah, the levers. I like that.
Yeah, the levers.
Yeah.
But you said
Wait.
There we go.
The levers.
The levers.
Don't stop the Levin.
Don't power of all the levers.
They're true belevers.
To all your levers and friends.
This works in so many ways. Yes, all the levers out there.
Someone wants to know if you're a face or a heel.
Oh, he's a baby
A
face.
baby face.
Oh, yeah, he's
I am
clearly
the
a baby
babiest of
face.
baby faces.
You want to tell them
look
about
at
your
that
artifact?
face.
So, one of my merits is an artifact that Dixie was so kind to do for me. So, he carries around the sash of the Soul Steel Champion. This massive belted sash wraps around most of my lower torso, made of soul steel over heavy embroidered silk, bearing ornately engraved orcalium plates. The sash is forged from the souls of all who have lost against its bearer.
Or a calcum.
Or
just so you know.
a calcum.
Or you calcum.
Calcum. Words and pronunciation.
It's
It's
okay.
hard. It's hard.
And I thought of another name for your fans.
Oh.
They can just be collectively known as the Fulcrum.
Yes!
Okay.
It's a leverage point.
Well,
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
the Fulcrum is his finishing move.
That's actually.
I feel like that's his finishing move.
That's not bad, actually. When wearing this sash, I get some merits and bonuses to my combat rolls. So he is we'll get into physical descriptions later, but yes, I have a Soul
Yes.
Steel Championship belt. The anima effects for my character are Dark Presence. I can intimidate without a roll, and I get some bonuses to intimidating more powerful creatures along the scale. I have a Shroud of Fear. Anyone who targets the Soul Steel with a close combat attack must make a reflexive integrity roll against difficulty 3, or the attack fails and must target someone else. And then Steel's Rebuke, I can add my Force attribute and automatic successes to any attack and damage roll they make. This does not count towards the dice cap. So that is my passive, active, and iconic animals.
Very nice.
Did you want charms?
No,
No,
let's all our
no.
charms.
Okay.
No.
They will
Well,
see them during play. It'll be
yeah,
like a reveal.
Yeah.
So anything else you'd like to know about me before we move on?
The one thing I will point out is that Soul Steel Alchemicals, their biggest thing is like justice. So they're about like dispensing justice and things like
Yes. So that's why he is a babyface, because he wants to go around and topple all of the, we're looking at this from the wrestler standpoint. He goes around and fights all of the local heels for their little promotions, i.e. tyrants.
Thank you, Eggman Sizzle, for the 100 bits. Appreciate that. Cheers to So Steel Wrestling Robots. I think that's appropriate.
There it is.
Alrighty. Thank you, Steve, or should I say Lev, and your belevers. Next, Dixie, if you would, tell us a little bit about your Exalt type, your character's name again, and your caste and your animal.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to remember my character's name except me. Her name is Abyssals don't have names. They give up their names when they become Abyssals, so when they exalt. So they have titles. So instead of a name, she is the thrice-forsaken widow wreathed in the promise of oblivion, otherwise known as the Promise to her friends, which sounds kind of cool, but kind of ominous and creepy. She is a midnight cast Abyssal. Midnight casts are the... Did I put it back up? Because I just had it. Midnight casts are the kind of like underworld powers. They start cults. They preach the gospel of the void. They coerce people. They're very weird. Abyssals in general are very weird. They are essentially undead. They count as undead anytime it's beneficial to them to count as undead. If it's not beneficial to them, they are not undead. They're people. It's pretty cool. The solar exaltations that were stolen by the Death Lords were transformed into the Abyssal. So each Abyssal is offered their exaltation at their moment of death. This is the only way to escape their demise, is to become a harbinger of the world's end. They don't have names because they cast it into the void, so they go by their title. They're kind of dark mirrors to the solars, so they embody the inevitable powers of the void. They're Death Knights, they're Lords of Grim Kingdoms, they're Carnage Bringers, they're into necromancy. My character specifically is mostly a necromancer. That's most of her power set, because why the hell not? As far as my backstory goes, I probably didn't kill all 3 of my husbands, but maybe I did. And that's my anima effects and things like that. My advantages, like I said, I'm undead whenever it's beneficial to me. So like if something does double damage against undead, then I'm not undead, but if something heals undead, then I am undead. Yay!
Yes.
And then past that, I can intuit characters' losses. I can inspire fear or despair or peace or acceptance. So it's like anything kind of like death related. And people can't hide from me very well. So that's kind of my character's whole thing.
Can sense the living.
Yeah. Yes. I am here to outcreep Ever. That's my plan. We're gonna try to outcreep each other.
I love it. Alrighty. Thank you, Dixie. Appreciate it. Now, Devin, tell us about your Exalt, your caste, and your anima.
So my Exalt is Cyrus. He is a lunar Exalt of the Changing Moon case, and he gets some really fun things as a chosen of Luna. They granted them some fun abilities like 10,000 forms. I get access to animal shapes. If I have to do a sacred hunt, I get to outwit or beguile my target as a trickster because I'm kind of a Loki type. But I always have a little bit of a tell, and in this instance, my character's tell is in any form. You're going to see that I have the ferret white albino color hair on the front of my face. So I've got the white eyebrows. I get some fun powers for transitions. I have a wonderful ability where as long as I'm just talking to people that are extras, I'm believed. Anything I say that's a lie is a truth.
Even if it's abjectly ridiculous, which is pretty great.
Yes. So Ever's character is wearing a pink hat, and everyone will believe that, even though they're not wearing a hat. So I chose a familiar, which I'm also making a ferret, because my character is Cyrus, and the familiar is Mavash, which stands for Sun and Moon. I am a lunar exalt named Sun. But I get a neat artifact where it's a moon silver talon. It's basically a kick-ass bow that lets me take aim while I'm running, falling, leaping. Helps with my disguises. A little bit of help with more.
I mean, that's most of
yeah,
it.
that's
Okay, that is basically it.
I
Okay.
I like to look at the main of it. So the main thing is that being a Changing Moon lunar, Changing Moons tend to be silver tongues, tricksters, spies, assassins, scouts. They tend to have quick, clever spirit shapes, things like that. So they get milestones if they commit espionage or sabotage. I know that when you came to me, you said you wanted to play a Loki type, so that is what we made you.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds exactly like that. Thank you very much, Devin. Appreciate it. And thank you again to Eggman Sizzle for another 100 bits. Cheers to the promise and her probably not murdered husbands.
Probably.
Yes, I'm sure someone with the title of the thrice forsaken widow wreathed in the promise of oblivion didn't murder their husbands. I'm sure that's how that goes. All right.
There's another set of bits, by the way.
Eggman Sizzle's on fire with the bits. For all the lunars named Sun out there, cheers.
This is kind of a dark reflection of earlier in the Discord. I said that Sailor Moon was a solar, and I broke somebody's brain because they challenged me to put them all into casts without using lunars or
I think that was
sidereals.
You were telling me about that.
Nope. I just did it today.
Again.
It was in the Exalted Discord.
That's amazing.
It's awesome.
Awesomeness. All right, next up, Ever. Tell us about your Exalt.
Yes. The end. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. So, I am a liminal in the marrow category. Liminals are created with dug-up corpses, dirt, and thaumaturgy, the result of an attempted resurrection. The dead cannot be brought back, but sometimes the strange force of the underworld puts something new in their shell when someone makes the attempt. A liminal might be a child yanked back from a too early grave by a grieving parent, or the result of a powerful god trying to reanimate a perfect servant. They look like mortals, but their flaring anima reveals their inner monster, patchwork stitched together skin and necrotic limbs. So, kind of Sally / Frankenstein's monster / a zombie. Mine was designed to be kind of like a librarian that carries magical guns. They poke all the things and find out how they work.
Yeah, so specifically marrow liminals are about curiosity and obsession, and that's kind of their whole thing. Like they're always like prying at secrets. If they spend too much essence, they start to get like desiccated, like they actually lose moisture and their nails and their teeth look really long and creepy.
Um,
I don't have that effect, sadly, IRL, but if I did, you bet I'd be using it.
I'd be a little concerned if you could do that IRL.
Yeah, I mean, if I could have a swirling anima of blood and bones, I would also do that just all the time. Just 7-Eleven, like CVS.
I'm sorry.
Just swirling blood and bones.
That'd be awesome.
Constantly.
Show up for your COVID shot with like blood swirling around you, and I'm here for my vaccination.
No. Just wait until after the vaccination and then let the anima flow.
Oh no, that would be downright.
I'm having a
evil.
reaction.
Y'all.
But yeah, I kind of picture my character as like Luna Lovegood, but as a flesh doll.
Okay. I like that. That is a combination I like. I can get behind that.
I love Luna.
Alrighty. Any other anything else you want to tell us right now, just about your exalt or cast or your powers or anything like that?
Yeah, I am basically I'm functionally immortal. If my brain is undamaged, it's alive. So I can also replace missing limbs or organs with necrosurgery, which is amazing, and it heals at twice the normal rate. So take that.
Okay.
Yes.
All
I'm
right.
Oh, and I can touch ghosts.
Sure.
Ghosts, nargles, you know.
You can
With
interact with
consent,
them.
correct?
I was just about to say with consent.
Yes, I will ask the ghosts before I
Okay.
touch them. I
It's not
promise.
just touching ghosts though. Like you can talk to them. You can learn things from them. Like it's not just like I can poke them. With my unnaturally
But if
desiccated
you're-
fingernails.
If
Nope. I
if
like-
you're going to beat up a ghost, though, are you going to call your fists the Ghostbusters?
Oh, no.
I have never
Okay.
been prouder right now.
No, I'm actually going to take this moment to move on to Sean. Sean, please tell us about your exalt.
So my exalt is the default. I am a solar
No
exalt
such
type.
thing as a default in essence.
Was from the history just read,
Once
you
it
are
was,
actually
yes.
a
No such
very
thing
rare
now.
specimen.
It's
you
true.
are hunted and wanted. You are at Solar. So please continue. Tell us about
Yeah.
Solars.
So they're the chosen of the unconquered sun as champions who exhibit great potential and aspire to lofty ambitions. As the great curse sets in, some first stage solars grew power hungry, went mad, and declared war on former allies. I am the most August rising sun fist, Augie to his friends, and he is of the caste Dawn, and he definitely has much wonder in the world, but with a courageous spirit. He's just a big beefy dude with purple philhawk, very He-Man-ish, loves snacks, and he has these two like big powerful fists that he uses, like crafted fists. He also has a magical cat named Diaclave.
Yeah.
It is a magical talking, walking cat.
Most
the best.
cats can walk. Things
I
cats can
mean,
do.
right, but just wanted to specify that it was a walking cat.
When all of you were picturing this in your minds,
Right,
I
it
was
just wasn't
imagining
like
a floating cat, personally.
yeah,
Right.
Diaclave is
Right.
walking on its hind legs.
I
right,
mean,
when-
Diaclave is magical. It could be a floating cat.
that is. Oh man, okay, the cat
Like that
floats.
hover cat from the meme.
Yeah.
Right,
Constantly
Yes.
floating in a curled up position.
I take everything back that I just said. Diaclave is a magical floating cat, just legs dangling,
Aw,
whatever,
Diaclave.
looking for sandwiches.
That reminds
It's like
me.
it just like uses all four legs, like swims through the air.
Or it can be like a multi-legged cat, like Krushak from Welcome to Night Vale.
I mean, now you're just getting complicated. But
I like Night Vale. Sorry.
so I was
thinking
coming
it
up
too.
with my intimacies, and I don't know why I like this one. Augie will punish those who are cruel to animals with death. Charge ahead in the face of indecisiveness, and knowledge is savory.
Savory.
Savory. Yes, savory.
Is knowledge covered in a blend of herbs and spices?
Yeah, it should be, because knowledge is delicious.
Knowledge is meatloaf.
Fair enough. Good to know.
Not
Good to know.
meatloaf. No, definitely not.
Sean
meatloaf.
apparently has a thing against baked meats.
Yeah, meat should not be in the form of a loaf. I'm sorry. It's just not.
Okay, well, we're gonna fight on the moon because Meatloaf is amazing.
We were
So-
fighting on the moon
Yeah.
about several other
I
things.
do have to
so-
ask
Add to the list.
before we move on, Sean, does that mean you'll do anything for meat, but you won't do that?
It's
Okay,
been
so
great
Sean
for
brought
these
up-
first 30 minutes. Great guys. I'm gonna go now.
So I touched on it briefly in the history of creation. Sean also mentioned it as far as solars go. There was a great curse, and that manifests itself. So Dixie, I know you said you might want to talk about this a little bit. The great curse manifestation that is within all Exalts.
Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit because I have my chapter 2 open, and I bet everybody in the chat is jealous.
Bam.
Yeah, so Great Curse manifestations happen for every single Exalt type. Manifesting it doesn't involve the player losing control of their character, but usually you end up like playing an exaggerated form of that personality, flaws, or virtues, because the curse will heighten factors that are already present. So even if one of your virtues is like noble, maybe the Great Curse, when it activates, makes you like hubristic, you know, like you're the best person of everybody. So you definitely like play with that a little bit too. When it does manifest, it's one of those things for like the spiritual and the player really need to work on it together. But the ways that they manifest are different for everybody, and that's very, very cool. So like the Abyssal Exalted can incite the Great Curse if they try to exist as a living person, or they respond to or accept address by a name rather than a sobriquet or title. There are all kinds of ways that can work out. If alchemicals ignore, like if a community they have an intimacy toward is threatened, ignore their advice or turns away their help, they can incite the Great Curse. For our other characters, what do we got here? We don't have infernals. Liminals. Liminals can incite it if they fail to intervene when the life or welfare of their creator or bonded anchor is threatened, or if mortals reject you because you're gross. Not even joking, that's one of them. All lunars have it if they express strong anger that they can't express, and there are a ton of other ones they can play with. So like if you're insulted, that could be one. If somebody humiliates you, that could be one, etc. And then solars. If you act against a minor virtue, that's one. But then also, like, once again, if you endure serious insults, if you engage in deceitful or treacherous behavior, like stuff that is just not kind of about the solar way. So there are a lot of different ways the Great Curse can happen. And generally, when you play it out, it is just by exaggerating one of your personality features to your own detriment. Think of like your virtue and vice in like Chronicles games. Or if you hit a breaking point, you have to like deal with those. It's the same exact kind of thing. I like that I finished right as Patty like went out of frame to do something.
Sorry, I was kissing the wife goodnight. All right, but yes, thank you very much for telling us about the Great Curse Edition. And when I was reading about it, I thought what was really cool about it, as it doesn't always have to go off, and it doesn't involve the player losing control of their character. It just involves the character's kind of personality or flaws being a little bit more exaggerated than usual. And another cool thing I thought was, it's up to the player to determine when it would manifest.
Right.
So it's one less thing that a storyteller has to keep track of with the million things that are going on. And it allows the player to kind of choose when they want to have that kind of really cool role-playing moment of the curse manifesting by them going, actually, I kind of want to do something with this. And then allows, and I think that's a really cool thing of any system that does that, is when it allows the players to kind of interject and be like, hey, like, I think this would be I have an idea for this as a cool role-playing system idea, and allows them to do their great curse. So I thought that was really cool when I was reading about it.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Alrighty, so we created the Dixie and Sean were champions of this and helped everyone create their characters offline. But we're just going to do like a very brief of how you do a character creation in this. So the first thing you do is you come up with a 1 or 2 sentence character concept, like what your character is, which all of our characters are kind of giving you when they just talk. So you got Lev, who is a kind of a grappling people's champ kind of person. You got Cyrus, who's a Loki type and a shapeshifter. You've got Augie, this kind of warrior of the Solars. You got Athanasios.
Yes.
Got it. All right, first try. We're calling that first try.
I'm going to call them Athashoot from now on.
What?
At the shoot. Athanasios, as this created kind of Sally, they have lovingly called themselves the librarian with guns. And then the Promise, this just kind of darker being that, are they a secret husband murderer, or are they just like, misunderstood? You don't know. So those are your character concepts that you would start with. Then, just like every other good game, you have points to assign to attributes and abilities, which are things that your Exalt is really good at, just okay at, or knows of. And then there are going to be some abilities that your Exalt doesn't have any training in, but that's okay, because even though your Exalt has godly powers, they're not perfect at everything, which allows your group to help work out and work together. So we're not going to go over, and then so after that you pick your charms and your merits, which we're not going to have each person say every single charm and every single merit they have and what that means. But if each person wanted to go just real quick and just maybe name one or two charms that are either unique to you because of your Exalt type, or that you're kind of excited to showcase, or you think is just something really cool to get people excited.
It would be really funny if everybody just named their excellency or Oxbody right now, since we all.
I was gonna pull off Oxbody because Dixie kept saying you have to have Oxbody.
Well, no, because it's a prereq. Like, you have to have it.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah, like every Exalt gets either Oxbody, which has different effects depending on what your Exalt type is, or they get an Excellency, which is essentially you add dice to rolls for certain abilities or attributes.
I was going to say, I don't have that one.
You don't have Oxbody because I gave you a freaking close combat finesse Excellency.
Yes,
you get 4 dice to every close combat roll.
Yes, I do.
I know what I'm doing, son.
Like she wrote the game or something.
I didn't write the game. A bunch of very talented writers wrote the game, but I did poke at it a lot.
Right, poked the game. Poked the game.
I'll go first because I'm already talking. I do have, which I am wearing because I'm a total extra person, I have a Hearthstone. This Hearthstone is a stone that I made with Monica Specca's help. It's called the Lifesteal Stone. The manse that it goes with, because Hearthstones give you access to an actual manse, is a big crumbling manor on a hill in a graveyard, because of course it is, with undead servants that take care of the place and strange experiments in the basement. But when I deal at least 1 health level of damage to a significant character, the wearer heals the highest of their damage health levels, which means me. So I'm essentially life draining. The other thing, one thing about Hearthstones that probably people in the chat will know that a lot of y'all don't, is that a level 5 Hearthstone should actually give you 4 evocations, but evocations take the same slots as charms. And I decided I wanted to showcase the charms more than the evocations. So I didn't give most of us evocations, I just gave you a cool effect for your artifacts, right? Because once again, this game is toned down from 3rd edition. It's not easy. And I think that my favorite spell is a lot of people. So I'm a necromancer, which is something that any character can pick up. Any character can be a sorcerer or a necromancer for the most part. I think there are a few exceptions to that. They're all listed in the book. I'm not going to go over it right now. But there is a spell that has been around and Exalted for forever that everyone's in love with, and I do have it. It's called Death of Obsidian Butterflies.
Yes!
You sculpt essence into black glass, unleashing a torrent of razor-sharp obsidian butterflies. It affects about a football field's worth of range, and turns people into a fine red mist. One of my favorite stories about somebody using that spell was someone who didn't realize what it did, and they used it on one guy. Like one mortal guy. And it was like, okay, he exploded.
Yeah.
But what's extra cool about it... What's extra cool about it is that because I'm using the necromancy version, I can either do obsidian butterflies, or I can have my alarm go off on stream. Or I can do something called Flesh Sloughing Wave, which is where I unleash a wave of light that's full of fanged ghostly creatures that rips the flesh off any organic structure in that same range. So I can just de-flesh a lot of people at one time if I really want to. If I want to do that instead of Sharpie butterflies. That's a spell that I hope I get to use at least once. You. Actually, you shouldn't, because I don't think it distinguishes between good guys and bad guys.
Oh,
I just killed everybody.
You're deboning.
Yeah. I also have a really cool spell called Flying Guillotine, which is a spell that we brought back for this one that isn't in 3rd edition yet, because it's one of the necromancy spells we haven't put in here yet. But it literally does what it says on the tin. It makes a flying guillotine.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
So yeah, so those are my 2 probably creepiest spells.
So it's your Vorpal spell.
Yes. It goes Snicker.
All right. Someone follow up Flying Guillotine. I dare you.
Well, we could go Return of the Flying Guillotine, 36 Chamber of
Hail of Two Flying Guillotines.
right.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
Hail
Devin,
of
you
Two Flying Guillotines. That sounds
Devin,
awesome.
you volunteered. Tell us one or two of your favorite charms or merits you might have.
Oh, I already said about being able to lie to just about anybody that's not that's an extra, and
That's
it's
not a charm or a
completely
merit. That's just a
believed.
change.
That's just an effect. Yeah, that's just an effect, though. But let's see. One of my charms that I absolutely adore, because it's totally a Loki thing, is I basically take a piece of myself, spit, hair, whatever, and it becomes a duplicate of myself, so that I can basically avoid attacks, vanish, basically create, make myself appear there so that I can go somewhere else, whatever I really want to do with the extra me. There's the other one that I was just about to say. But that one's fun, and one of my anima effects that is really cool is in combat, when I'm being targeted, as a changing moon, they suffer a dice penalty equal to my essence to target me.
Hey. Steve, what you got?
My big thing is I have the fighting style of Mantis style, which gives me access to a couple of different things. I can deflect attacks back to me using Iron Arm Block, helps me protect people next to me. Crushing Claw technique, so I'm pretty good at grappling and crushing people, which is going to be great. And the one that sounds the most badass, and I'm hoping to see how it plays out, I have something called Bone and Steel Destruction. Basically, I'm very good at determining how much pressure it takes to break bones and armor, and I can start snapping things. So they are going to be a catch-can wrestler, apparently, and just start snapping arms.
Well, I want you to have that interrogation moment where, like, you do the pressure right before breaking an arm. Just like, if I squeeze just like 0.5 pounds harder,
this snaps.
This arm will break.
That's gonna be awesome.
Sean, what you got?
So,
Charms and merits wise.
Charms and merits wise, merits, obviously Diaclave is the best floating magical cat there is. I like one of my Exalt advantages. Solar Exalts always win ties, even when there's no clear defender. I like that. Let's see. Charms. Is it? No. Here. Yep. Nope. Keep going. There we go. Behemoth Slain Attitude.
What's that do?
Okay. Yeah, tell us about that. That.
His essence is more than makes up for the difference in mass. Commit 2 modes for the scene. Enemies with Legendary Strike take a 3 dice penalty to attack the solar, and he negates the penalty to withering attacks made against such opponents. That sounds kind of dope. Star Cleaving Crater. These names are fantastic. Her mighty blow sends enemies hurtling through solid walls. I think we can all picture what that does. Fist of Iron technique. Man with the Iron Fist. Awesome. At the start of any combat scene, the Exalt may choose that his unarmed attacks count as heavy or medium or heavy weapons rather than light. That is amazing. And then Ox Body for all your Exalted needs.
Thank you. Ever, tell us maybe one or two of your favorite charms and merits. But first, Weird Trinity and Sunpulsar, thank you for the subscriptions to the Oxpath channel.
So, all of these are my favorite. Just want to point that out. But Scent of Blood. Blood and passion cry out to the liminal, leading them to whatever wellspring they seep from. Basically, I get double 9s for any rolls to tracking or pursuit, and 2 bonus successes if my quarry is undead, wounded, or have recently killed a living being. So you know the whole zombies can smell you and track you from wherever or hear you from wherever? That's
Real.
And this one Dixie was super excited about and sold me on it pretty easily. Blood Slick Crimson Barb. My essence infused blood connects my weapon and allows me to make a tether to my opponent, and they cannot escape me. So basically my giant, as Rachel likes to put them, fuck off guns, I can use those on an enemy, and they are tethered to me via blood, and they can never escape.
Okay.
Yeah. And one more, I swear it's the last one. Truth Rendering Gaze. Basically, I am scary, you tell me truth. Just to summarize that large paragraph that describes it.
All right. I like it. Yes. Those sound pretty sweet.
Also, I will say that Monica made Ever a wonderful floating matched pair of flame pieces. So Ever's guns can actually just float and shoot things on their own.
Okay. Badass.
Monica is, yes. They are called Precision Twin Devil Casters. They are artifact flame pieces. They are a pair of single-shot flamethrowers shaped like pistols. And yes, they hover. They're just like turrets. And so basically...
Yeah, I feel like you buried the lead there. These are pistols that are also flamethrowers.
They are.
Okay. Good to know. And I'm just picturing your character, like the two guns like firing, and you're just sitting there reading a book. Like, I don't know. Interesting. Oh, they're all dead now? Okay. I'll put that
Accurate.
away for later then.
100% accurate. I didn't even get to finish my chapter.
Let me just mark
thanks
that.
for the
real
raid,
quick.
Untold Stories Project.
Untold Stories Project coming through with the raid. You came in a good time.
Raid!
We are talking about our player characters here, the wonderful exalts we have assembled before us. So, speaking of what you guys can do, now it's time to maybe talk a little bit about why you're doing it. So, once you've done all that character creation stuff of picking all the things that make your exalt the super badass they are, you've got to figure out why they are the super badass they are. Why are they doing the things they are doing? Why are they fighting for truth, justice, and America? No. Why are they being awesome?
Snacks. Definitely snacks.
So you pick virtues and intimacies. So virtues, there's 7 specific ones you can pick from that all of our characters have. You choose I believe 1 major and 1 minor. And then there are intimacies, which is something you come up with yourself. So it's either a belief you hold dear, or relationship to a character or a place or something like that. And these help really just finally flesh out the whys of your character. So I don't know if everyone has developed virtues and intimacies yet or not. If you haven't, we can do it here live. And kind of talk about, why is your character doing the thing they're doing? So, Steve, why is your character doing the thing it's doing?
Oh, man. I mean, their whole thing is specifically about inspiring. I didn't say that yet. They have this group that follows them. They are fighting for justice. So everything they do needs to be in front of this group or in front of a crowd or an audience so that people can be inspired and go forth and live their lives in the appropriate way of a believer.
When I gave you those followers too, I also imagined that was going to be your retinue for like the people that took care of you, that oiled you, that changed out your charms, needed them to, your coaches, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think all of that.
So I imagine your major virtue would then be justice, as you said you were fighting for justice. Your minor virtue would probably be maybe either courage or loyalty.
I think I took courage.
Yeah, courage.
And I think I had written down that the major virtue was ambition, but yeah, we could probably change that to justice.
I think either or work there. And then what are your intimacies?
So intimacies. Is that connections to other players or
Things that motivate
It
you
can
or
be.
other
Okay,
players. Yeah, it's
all right?
you get 1 major and 2 minor.
Okay, then I do have these. My major intimacy is a true champion will face all challengers and defend their title with honor. So again, always looking for challengers and title defenses, and just everything is all about defending this championship that he's created that they have created in their head, no matter what. Their minors are I have to win to help encourage all my fans.
Ooh.
So I cannot fail.
Can't lose.
I cannot lose. Or I'll let down all the believers.
Nice, clear heart, clear eyes, full heart. What is that called?
Yeah, something like that.
And the other minor for them is quote unquote title matches should always have an audience.
Okay. All right.
A fight with no audience is not a real title
What's the
match.
point? What's even the point?
There's no point in it at all.
Exactly.
Sounds like Les going to distract people while Cyrus and myself steal
Yes.
all their wallets.
I am definitely going to be cutting promos in front of castle walls, trying to egg on someone to come fight me on Sunday. Me and you.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Sean, let's talk about your virtues and intimacies.
So my major virtue is wonder. Augie's a bit of just sort of an aloof idiot that just wanders around with his cat looking for the best noodle bowls and just likes fighting evil. And
That sounds familiar.
I mean, I really like nudes. I don't know what to tell you. And then his minor virtue is courage. Just you always fight evil. You always stand up to the tyranny. My intimacies, I mentioned earlier, Augie will punish those who are cruel to animals with death. Augie also doesn't like indecisiveness. So if nobody can come to a consensus, he'll just go out and start the fight and just punch the first thing that he can
Excellent.
see. Yeah.
We've got a cat herder. I like it.
Right. And
A rope
and
pusher.
then
Literally a cat herder.
Yes.
yeah. One, I mean, man, can you imagine just a whole? I should have done fans but they're just all stray cats following them around. That would have been awesome. Might have to change this around. Also, knowledge is savory, so I like that spice. Knowledge is spice, which kind of goes with the wonder, just sort of wanting to know about the world and things like that.
Oh, so you're just kind of like this, star-eyed, ambition to the skies kind of person.
So is it
I mean,
more...
I'm thinking more if he's just a bar bum and just wanders around hearing stories.
You're like the saddest solar that ever existed.
Oh!
Usually solars are like, I am the biggest hero in creation and I will fight all comers. And you're like, I like noodles and cats.
I like noodles and cats.
And evil's bad, I guess.
God, do we have to
Yes.
fight? All right, fine.
I kind of love it, like reluctant solar. It's like, why did the Unconquered Sun even choose you? You're like, I don't know why the Unconquered Sun chose me. I was just going about my business. And then suddenly
Everything
I was
has a
glowing.
purpose. Yeah.
So you say knowledge is
Savory.
Savory.
Okay. So is this more like an earthy, herb kind of texture and flavor?
It's an umami knowledge.
Okay. Or is it
Yeah.
kind of that spicy?
Oh man, it's a good thing Dwayne's not here. Talk about mommy.
No, definitely a more a spicy
Is there
you
a
want
kick
you
of
want
paprika in there?
you want to feel some shit in your mouth is what I'm saying. Yeah, you want to feel something.
I don't.
tingling.
Some kimchi.
Okay, so Dixie, tell us about your virtues and intimacies.
Hi. I'm gonna have a different voice once I start playing. By the way, I'm not gonna be like, "Hi, I'm the Thrice Forsaken Widow. Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I actually noticed that a lot of us picked the same major and minor virtue, which I thought would actually work for our characters, because my virtues are also Wonder for a major and Courage for a minor. Wonder more in the curiosity, knowledge, wants to know everything about everything, even if it means dissecting the thing. And Courage as in just kind of bitchy. like just gets her own way more than anything else. I did kind of an unconventional read on Courage, but it is one of the ways you can translate it in the book. And then my intimacies major, Death is beautiful. It's my first one. Like it's beautiful and it should be like savored and respected and gone through with fully. Minor, try not to let anyone die prematurely. Like if it's going to happen, great. But if not, it's not their time yet. And then minor is Plumb the Secrets of the Grave is my other minor one, which is just, I want to know everything about death. And that includes tombs and cobwebs and talking to dead people and this, that, and the other. I'm very excited having a friend who can talk to ghosts because they can tell me all about how they died.
Okay, so it sounds like we're going to have some unearthing of graves and some tomb raiding. Okay, good. This is all good stuff.
I'm very creepy, is all I'm saying.
Ever, how about your virtues and intimacies?
Well, open my sheet here. Where are they on my list? Scrolly. Okay, so my major virtue is Wonder, which, in my opinion, made sense for a zombie Luna.
It makes extra sense for a Marrow, yeah.
Yeah, like, ooh, what happens if I remove my eyeball and put it on the shelf over there? Can I see from there?
Can I open it?
My eyeball?
Yes.
Of course.
Excellent.
Stay tuned, folks. That's the kind of interaction you're going to get later.
Oh goodness. My minor virtue is Courage, which the second one was like, normally when I create a very inquisitive and smarty character, they're kind of a little bit scaredy, but I figure I'm made up of different parts of people, like, and I can reattach parts and put on new parts. What have I got to lose? I'm gonna be brave. Well, the promise, can I borrow your finger? I'm missing one.
Mine don't come off like yours.
Oh.
That's a you thing.
Oh dear.
You can borrow someone else's finger. I can get.
So you need a hand?
You can't make me a pinky promise?
The promise.
I'm an adult. Anyway, my my intimacies are the major intimacy is life is meant for discoveries through wonder. And then I have two minors. The first one being science is an art. The second one being art is a science.
Okay. Is this the rectangle thing all over again?
The which
all
one? The what?
Rectangles are all
Oh yeah.
squares are rectangles. Not all rectangles are squares.
This is fair.
Alrighty. Sounds exhilarating. I'm excited to see Athanasios pick up a random foot off the ground and just try to stick it on themselves. Cyrus, your virtues and intimacies.
So my major virtue is wonder. My minor virtue is loyalty, and part of my wonder, or part of that, comes from when I became a lunar. In this, I was chosen just after my brother Mavash dies, I gain this familiar who is exactly like my brother. So I've determined that he is my brother, which is where my major intimacy comes from, or one of my major intimacies comes from. It's truth is what we make it to be, which then leads into a minor, which is family is who we choose. My brother is dead, my brother is alive.
Dangerous brother.
And the other minor is darkness and light are the same coin. Because sometimes to do evil is to do good, and to do good is to do evil.
Okay. I like it. All right. Well, now that we have created our characters, we are going to take a very short break. It's about 10:30, which means we're about halfway through our episode. We'll come back at 10:32 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
When I'm in the group, we always take 10, so I don't know why we're taking a 2-minute break. Oh wait, so it's in 22?
Yes. Sorry, I was saying it's all.
You said it was 10:30, and then you came back at 10:32,
yes.
And I was like, "What the hell? That's not a break."
As opposed to jumping straight into the next thing, we'll stop right here since we stopped.
That makes sense.
A little earlier than I thought we would be. It's okay. So 10:32 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be right back and talk to you more about Exalted Essence.
The sky so far, but I can't lose it. The sky so far away tonight, but I can't lose this one. Got a pride of a falling night. Thought that I was fit to fight for us to be. You gave me life for loving me. Tell me, where did we go so wrong? The sky so far, but I can't lose it. The sky so far, but I can't lose it.
Welcome back to Exalted Essence. We're doing a bit of a small run here to get everyone excited for the Kickstarter coming out on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I once again challenge all of you to try to be the first back with the Kickstarter. Just spam the refresh button. Maybe I'll do something special if you can prove to me you're the first one. All right, just went over our character creation, and we talked about who our characters are, what they can do, and why they're doing it. So they would need a system in order to do those things and why they would do them. So we're going to talk very briefly about how Exalted works. I know a lot of you in here in this chat know way more about Exalted than I could ever hope to know about it. But for those of you who do not know anything about Exalted, I'm going to very briefly go over how the system of Exalted works. Or at least try to, because I'm also fairly new to this. So Exalted is a D10 system. And it's a D10 system that for things you're really good at, you get to throw a bunch of D10s. It recommends that you have at least 10 D10s with you. So, yeah.
Whereas I always suggest 15.
Yes. So, when you're if you make a character that's really good at punching someone in the face, and it's finally time for you to punch someone in the face, yeah, you're gonna punch them in the face real hard. But the way it works is you create dice pools based on the kind of thing you want to do. So you would build a pool of D10s, combining an attribute and an ability, and then any other modifiers you might have from your charms, your merits, or the type of exalt you are, or whatever it is you might have. And then you're going to add those all together, and you're going to roll them all. And then this is a game where 7s are successes. So anything that's a 7 or higher is a success. And if you roll a 10, that counts as 2 successes. That's called a double 10.
And if
some
you're
abilities
used to storyteller stuff, 7 sounds like a really low threshold, but the Exalted are very good at what they do. So
yes,
that's on purpose.
Yeah. From the one session or two sessions I played of, and reading Essence and now running this. This is really much a system for if you're ready to kind of feel like a god and do really powerful things. This is a great system for it. So you roll your d10s, and then however many successes you get, you would check it against the storyteller, who has a determined number of successes you would need. This is really awesome, really cool thing, because most of the time, it even calls out in the rules that if this is something that you only need 1 or 2 successes for, don't even bother rolling, because there's so many other opportunities to roll. And your exalts are just so good at what they do that if it's a very simple thing, they're just going to do it. If it's jumping over a 5-foot fence, your exalts are going to do it, no problem. So you have a couple different action types you can do when things get hectic. There's reflexive actions, which are just kind of calling out something in battle, or noticing danger. Then there's a simple action, which is kind of what you would do on your turn. So, punching the bad guy, attacking with a weapon, looking for clues, things like that. And then Exalted also has something you can do called flurries, which just allows you to do 2 actions on your turn. They have to be different actions, so you can't kind of I punch and then I punch again. It would need to be I try to trip the guy and then punch him while he's dead. Basically what happens is you roll twice, and you just subtract dice from both pools. So allows you to kind of get a half success if necessary.
Yeah, there are a couple of charms there that can make it so you can do something in a flurry without the dice penalty, which is very cool. It's just
that sounds like an awesome charm.
Yeah, they're it's for specific actions. I think a couple of people here have one of those charms or artifacts where it lets you flurry without the penalty. Because that's a good penalty, or that's a good charm / artifact.
Nice. And then there are opposed actions. So this is how Exalted settles contests between 2 different characters, whether it be a PC versus PC or a PC versus an NPC. So think about I think the most common would be a race or an arm wrestling competition or something like that. Instead of there being a success threshold that you're trying to hit, you're just going to both roll your pools, and then higher number wins. And then some things affect that. If ties happen, like Sean said earlier, solars just win ties because they're solars. So yeah, that's kind of just the basics of how you would do something in Exalted. As things get more difficult to do, the difficulty ramps up. But as you have your charms and your abilities as who you are to help you out with that kind of thing. So this game also has a very specific, and I like this, as most systems kind of like have you to, bluff or make up your own thing. There's a very specific for teamwork. So a lot of times you're like, you might be looking for clues, or you're trying to find, someone lost in a forest, or something where it would naturally benefit you to work together as a team. There's a very specific mechanic for teamwork. When assisting a teammate, you choose which ability you think is most appropriate to help. And then you roll that ability, and however many successes you get gets to be added as dice to the person you're helping's pool. So say Sean wants to help Ever lift a super heavy object, lift a gate that's being closed. Sean would roll physique, and however many successes he would get, that's that many extra dice Ever would get to roll in their pool to help, and the both of them working together, would be able to hopefully keep the gate up so the rest of the team can escape. I thought that's really cool that there's a very specific mechanic for that. I appreciate that. Because a lot of times I get players like, can I help you with that? And it's like, sure, we'll just kind of make something up on the fly. And then finally, one of the very coolest things about Exalted is stunting. Stunting, while also just sounding super cool, is how you describe these very super cool things you will be doing in Exalted. So as opposed to just saying, okay, I'm gonna the guy that's wearing the red armor, I'm gonna walk over to him and punch him. Instead, you would say something like, Steve, what would you say?
Ducking under a flurry of blows, I slide across the room, grabbing him by the leg, lifting up behind him while taking a waist lock, lifting him above my head and German suplexing him down to the ground.
Fantastic. That is a fantastic stunt you just described there. And at seeing that, hearing the player take the time to really get into the story and describe what their character's doing, I reward that by giving them stunt dice. I'd give you 2 dice, and you can immediately use that for that German suplex you'd be doing on that unfortunate person that is being targeted by your German suplex. Or you can bank them, and you can bank as many stunt dice as you choose. So you can just kind of add it to your roll. You can use it later on to restore resources, like boats. You can use them for a dramatic edit, or you can use them to learn a new charm. Stunt dice are fantastic, but they go away at the end of a session, so make sure you use them. Most of the time, you'll use them immediately in order to hit the bad guy harder, but there can be a reason why you might want to hold on to them. All right, so that's kind of the main overview of mechanics.
Question.
Yes, please.
You said that I can bank those. Can I bank all of my stunt dice indefinitely and then hit one person with 100 stunt dice 3 sessions later?
First of all, stunt dice go away at the end of the session.
There it is. Okay.
And second, you can only benefit from 1 set of stunt dice at a time.
Okay.
So if you are super amazing with all your descriptions of all your attacks, and you banked 10 stunt dice, you can't use all 10 at once. You can only use 1 set of 2 at once. Good question, though. I like where your head's at. Okay, so besides combat, we've kind of go over how Exalted works as a system. So before we go into our story, let's talk about how you all met. Groups of player characters in Exalted are called circles. So the 5 of you are a circle. So let's take a moment to maybe talk about how your circle formed. How might your circle formed? Any ideas?
Well, a straight line gets bent, and then the 2 ends get welded through truth, injustice, and courage.
So you're making a half circle then?
No, you take a straight bar and you
Yep, and then you bend the 2 ends.
You
Right.
like
You
bend
have-
the whole
yeah, yeah.
thing. You like bend the whole
Right.
thing into a
You
circle.
like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, you take it on the anvil and you
Okay.
take and you shape it around.
Well, you
and-
really gotta
Okay.
you really gotta use the horn of the anvil if you're gonna get a circle thing. You cannot.
right,
like-
and if you're using Damascus steel, well, you're just a crazy pants.
We don't have Damascus in creation.
So, hear me
Oh.
out.
It's a sad world then.
We all met at a support group of some sort for Exalteds, and Augie
that a
just showed up
thing?
for the snacks.
That sounds so true.
I don't know what kind of support group for Exalted there would be, but
I mean, they were really worried about the great curses, and so it's like a great curse support group. Like they build each other up.
Can we incorporate?
So unfortunately, the idea of the Great Curse is a secret.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
is, yeah, it's not something that is known even by you. The Exalt don't even know that necessarily that they are cursed.
So
Okay.
I have an idea for how our circle came together.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
I can say so. Lev started doing their tour after they were probably found in a tomb or a crypt somewhere, because most alchemicals in essence probably don't come from Autocathone, which is like outside of creation. It's very weird. You're probably a creation alchemical, like one who was left here and then rediscovered.
Okay.
What if Cyrus is the one who rediscovered you and has become kind of a manager type for you, because they're very good at talking you up and helping you out, and then fleecing the people that are there to see you, possibly without your knowledge.
Okay.
Let's see. I think that Athanasios and I ended up just kind of tagging along for the weirdness of it, and also for the fact that, you get into scraps a lot. And we're both into studying weird shit that happens with injuries and death and what have you.
So you're following me around for the pile of broken limbs.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yep.
promise.
Yeah.
The promise. Look, it's the metal person.
Also, I can see a world in which I'm the one that found you in a tomb. I just like poked you and then like left you on your way. And then I found you again one day and you were like, "Hey, it's that person." And I think Augie just thinks we're interesting. I think Augie has a bit of a protective fatherly thing with us, where he's
Oh
like,
man, I'm group dad again.
he's like,
Okay.
he's like, mostly I want noodles and to pet my cat, but also you weirdos are gonna walk off a cliff if I don't
Right.
like herd
Right.
you in the right direction.
Everybody come back to their seats, sit down, watch the crazy man break arms,
Well,
and
So
then
that's my idea.
go
as to
get
how
dinner.
This whole thing formed is like,
I like it.
like
I like
yeah.
that. Is there any kind of character specific changes that any of you want to make to that, or how your circle formed?
No, I think I'm good with that.
I just picture me having joined in because I just see the group and I think you're interesting, and you have a cat. Okay,
Floats
yeah, I can
above my
stick a
shoulder.
little bit.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Are you good being my hype man, like my manager? My
Oh yeah,
True.
that's easy.
The Loki character would very much be the hype man / bet taker. I can see that working out.
Yeah,
my Jimmy
yeah.
Hart.
I
Of course,
start
that's just our
because of
mundane thing. We are exalted,
Yeah.
so we're probably gonna fight some bad guys at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
definitely.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this definitely
We'll see.
most like while
Maybe.
Lev takes the touring fight stuff way too seriously.
And the
this
heckler
all
in row
ends up
3
just
is-
being a cover for super adventures.
yeah, and the heckler in row 3 is definitely a tyrant. Like,
Oh, 100%.
been throwing out some really bad slurs and stuff. So
Well,
yeah,
he's ruining the night for everybody who paid for a
Right.
ticket and for a show, and now he's ruining it. So he does actually need to meet justice legitimately.
I think so.
he
Yeah.
becomes the heel.
Justice is what I call my fist. Okay, so we got how the circle formed. Who in the circle would we say is close to one another? I imagine, as Dixie already said, the Promise and Athanasios are probably pretty close as being just like the weird odd couple. I imagine maybe Lev and Augie are kind of close as, brothers in punching. And then I imagine
yeah.
Cyrus and Lev maybe being close as, hype man and wrestler.
I feel like the way to play that would be Lev thinks Cyrus is just this really like, yeah, he's my manager. He hypes me up. We can do all that stuff, but he has no idea any of the like more shady stuff that Cyrus is doing on the side. So,
Sure.
like kind of like what Dixie said. So play into that specifically. Where Lev is just oblivious to.
Aw, you're a himbo.
Yeah, playing. Yeah.
Or no, wait. Sorry. You're a thembo.
Thembo.
I apologize.
I'm getting it wrong too half the time. It'll be okay. So yes. Yeah, I think we should play into that for them.
Okay. Any other connections that might be there?
Cyrus, Mavash has stolen my ear again. Sorry, I
Back
just...
and apologize. The ferret will scurry up, put it back, and then whisper in your ear,
Now,
"I'm sorry."
Oh yeah, for those
I expected.
For those who don't know, both Dykley the cat and Mavash the ferret can talk. They're both talking
Perfect.
magical creatures.
so with
Yes.
us having a cat in the group, cats just like to like.
Someone's got to be
swat at
allergic,
things.
right? I imagine one of you is allergic. Or periodically, Athanasios picks up a nose that is allergic.
I'll be allergic. That's fine.
Can robots be
The
allergic
metal
to
man
things?
is allergic.
They are now.
I love
The
that.
cat fur is so soft it just corrodes the metal.
I'm going to say.
Oh, I was
yeah,
gonna say he
breaks
breaks
out
out in,
rust.
in tarnish.
One of the souls was allergic to cats, and so it manifests as blemishes.
You just hear a sneeze come from his arm. He's like, oh. I mean, they're
Starts
like,
out.
oh.
It starts out as a wailing scream, and then it goes.
All right.
Do any of these? Do you want to make any of these relationships further? Or is there, our brother sister, or father mother, or long lost cousin,
For those
or
who don't know,
ex lovers?
There is also something called the solar lunar bond that happens in creation. Every solar at one point had a lunar mate. It doesn't have to be romantic. A lot of people read it as romantic, but we've actually been pushing for more non-romantic solar lunar bonds. So it could be very possible that like the solar and the lunar were best friends in their previous incarnations, or they could be rivals. Like that could be their bond, and maybe they don't know it yet, but they kind of like knew it when they saw each other, but they might not have all their memories back yet. So that's also something. Now the other interesting thing is that since my exaltation is a stolen solar exaltation, I could also have a bond with the lunar. And it could also be like that's really
Pretty cool.
I'm
That's
leaving that
cool.
to Cyrus as to whether he wants to have a bond with either of us. But that
Thomas,
is,
I found
like-
another dead thing.
Is that a yes? Do you want to have one, Devin, or is
Yeah.
that something with me or with
Okay.
Augie?
I think it'd be more fun if it was with Augie.
Yeah, go for it.
Just because I could make Sean's face do so many weird contortions.
Oh my gosh! Now we have a stable where Cyrus has two just meaty punch guys.
So that's also another good reason for Augie to come with us, is because he doesn't quite realize maybe why he's drawn to like adventuring with Cyrus, but he is. He wants to stay around this person.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Because that is
That's
something
right.
else. It's like a weird little creation thing that I didn't really explore when I'm thinking the characters, but thought I would bring it up now for a fun kind of.
Yeah, that's really cool. I
Together.
did not know about that lunar solar bond. That's really cool.
I don't know. It's a full connection, and we'll role play it out and see where it goes or if it sticks at all. But I think Lev and I cannot say your name ever. I'm so sorry.
Athanasios?
Athanasios.
You can call them Seos.
Seos. Okay. I feel like there would be something there to dig into about you. You're like made from multiple people, right?
Yes.
So you're
This
kind
part
of
came from some sweet person that died of scarlet fever. Sometimes I get a little bit of a fever. This part came from my creator, actually.
oh, interesting.
I just made that up, so that's not canon.
Okay.
Well, I think it would be interesting exploring, like metal created being, organic created
Oh.
being. Like, I thought
Yes,
that-
you
Yeah.
you are like me, and I am like you, but I am squishy, and you are not.
Okay. All right. So we've got a nice web going here
Yeah.
of connections through our circle. So it's
Also,
not just.
I think that if I'm the one who found Lev in a tomb, I probably feel responsible for them, even though I don't understand them, and they can't die, and that's confusing to me. And like, I found a person in a tomb, but it wasn't a dead person, and they're kind of a naive idiot, and so I just like don't really know how to deal with them. I'm just like following them around, like, what are you doing?
I feel like that would almost stress you out a little bit. Of like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
don't you die?
Yeah. No, I am planning to play slightly neurotic and always a little stressed and weirded out. So.
Okay, so everyone has at least 2 reasons why they would be in the circle of very different backgrounded excellence. Perfect. I like it. Just kind of the last thing. What are some accomplishments your circle's already done? What are some things that you all would have liked to achieve already? Obviously, nothing world-shattering or creation-changing. Maybe just some minor things that you guys have done as a group.
Once we went to a village, and it was being terrorized by a Mordrite, and we slew the Mordrite, and then I absorbed some of its life force while Athanasios took it apart. It was mostly essence holding together with some strange armor and things, but it made for a good night.
I like it.
Okay, that for sure could be something that your circle has done.
Eating so many snacks.
I'm picturing
Traveled
one of,
far and sampled many civilizations' culinaries. Okay, yep, something your circle
I'm
could have done.
picturing one of Lev's fights just having turned into from a normal fight to, like he said, they said tyrant in the 3rd row, where I just lie to the stadium that that's the heel for the show, and the fight just becomes this big monstrosity where it looks like it's supposed to be special effects as we beat down
Some guy in the audience.
Augie.
We did
Yeah.
overthrow a minor tyrant through trickery, yes.
I like that.
Yes.
Yes.
That was fun.
All right, those are 3 solid things your group has done. All right, a little bit of combat, a little bit of trickery, a little bit of politicking, a little bit of exploring. All right. Now, someone in chat brought this up, and I did mean to touch on it real quick. There are, as awesome it is to roll, 5 million d10s, there is a dice limit in Exalted. So any combination of bonuses you have cannot exceed 10 extra dice,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. So whatever your ability and
Attribute.
attribute are that you're rolling, you cannot have more than 10 more dice on top of that as a bonus.
Right, which would take you up to like 18 plus dice, which is
Yeah.
why most Essence dice rolls cap out at about 15. Quick aside before we completely start, just because the audience might enjoy this. In Classic Exalted, and in 3 especially, you can roll buckets of dice. You can be rolling 30, 40, 50 dice for one charm. I wanted to obviously slim that down a little bit for Essence, but the rest of the team convinced me that I couldn't slim it down too much, because it was one of the joys of Exalted. Was rolling these just ridiculous handfuls of dice and being like, 7s and above are successes, I'm amazing at everything. And they were absolutely right, because the first time that we play tested this live, which was I think at Honest PathCon last year, it was last year sometime, was the first time I had ever played Exalted at all, let alone Essence, and the first time that I got to pick up like 13 or 14 dice, and I was like, I am so powerful, I need both hands, like what is this? There are still people in the Discord today who are like, I could see the moment that Dixie like clicked from being like, I find this interesting on a logical level, to being like, this is the best thing ever, I am so powerful. So yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect. Real quick, Mangani, thank you for subscribing to the Honest Path channel. We appreciate it.
Mangani's amazing. Mangani's in our Discords. We love Mangani.
So, yeah, the bonuses cannot exceed 10 extra dice, and then you cannot have more than 5 automatic successes you get from charms or merits, things like that. So that means potentially you can have your ability and attribute plus 10 more dice plus 5 successes you already have. So you can see things can get really crazy in Exalted, and I can completely understand why there's this cap. Otherwise, like Dixie said, there's gonna be 40 dice and 20 automatic successes, and it's gonna be like, well, I just moved heaven and earth on my whims.
Also, it just makes combat take a long time when everybody has to roll and then count out like 60 dice they're rolling.
Lots of math, yes. Yeah, if you're not using like an app or using a website or something to roll your dice, yeah, it'll take a long time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 49, 48, 63 successes. Oh wait, plus my 18 automatic one. Yeah, no, it's too much.
And then just on the flip reverse, as Steve would say, of that, penalties follow the same rule. Penalties can never take away more than 10 dice or 5 successes. I don't plan on ever giving you guys a 10 dice penalty unless you guys really screw it up, but just so you know. If I'm ever like, you have minus 15 dice, like, well, I can only minus 10, Patty.
Gosh, Patty.
Okay. I think we are just about ready to start. So, you all will be starting in an area of creation known as the 100 Kingdoms. This is on the eastern edge of the Scavenger Lands, where the river province gives way to the great eastern forests. A patchwork of minor city-states and petty principalities lay scattered across the rugged countryside. Many are petty autocracies or simple democratic oligarchies, though some have stranger governing practices. Like much of creation, the lands hide ancient ruins full of lost wonders and hidden threats. On occasion, some imperial-minded power aims to conquer the 100 Kingdoms. They often succeed only in uniting them in resistance to conquest. So this is very much an area that if you're big and bad enough, you can stake your own claim of land and say, this is my kingdom. There's nothing you can do about it until someone comes around and tries to do something about it.
Okay.
So when I was thinking about Exalted, and I was told I'd be running Exalted Essence, first thing that kind of came to mind was the kind of beauty through motion. I know Exalted takes a lot of direction and ideas and kind of I forget the other word I'm trying to use here, but it takes a lot from kind of like classic kung fu movies and
anime, like all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, things like that. So that really made me think of the whole kind of warrior poet. The their movements on the battlefield are as graceful as their words on paper. And so I want to kind of start each of our sessions with a war poem I think ties in kind of what the session is about and what you'll be doing. So, poem for this session will be In Flanders Fields by John McCrae. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep though poppies grow in Flanders Fields. You all are home, or at least as much as home as any of you could ever call. You walk through the tall trees. Up ahead lies the familiar buildings and wall that make up your little slice of the 100 Kingdoms. The cherry blossoms are in full bloom, pink flowers falling everywhere. The wind picks them up, swirls them around. It's not uncommon for you to go back inside and empty your pockets, take off your bags, and find stray petals still clinging to your belongings. As you walk through the gate, you see up ahead your mentor to all of you, the one that has helped train you, learned who you are as Exalts, helped you guide you on this path of learning to become better in whatever shape or form that you envision that to be. His name is 1,000 Eyes from 1,000 Perspectives that have cried upon seeing him. He's older, and from all outside appearances, gentle. He looks as though he carries the weight of the world on his shoulders. He seems to shuffle about with a walking stick in hand, plain kind of robes, and if he were to be seen on the streets of many of the main cities of creation, he'd be confused for a beggar or something of the like, but you all know him to be much, much more than that. He turns around, having been tended to his garden, and sees the 5 of you approaching, fresh from a long walk throughout the 100 Kingdoms, where you had no real goal, just exploration, good times, learning about one another more. He does see, though, that Augie, most of all, has maybe on a bit of a belly in the month or so you've been traveling. As you approach, he pokes Augie. Hey! You've not been keeping up with your training, have you? None of you! And he goes to poke like Lev, and the walking stick kind of like makes like a bong sound. It's some whatever. You always stay in shape. It's not fair. But he like goes for Cyrus, and you've seen this coming, and now you've backed up. All right, all of you. Lesson, line up. Let's go. And he points to the sparring field, where there are a couple of other acolytes, training in various forms of combat against the simple automaton-like training dummies that seem to be able to scale or change their abilities based on the power of the person training against them. He points to 5 dummies. Line up, one of you per dummy. Let's go. You're never too old or...
Patty, do we know this person?
Oh yeah, you've known him for quite a while now.
We don't usually get trained as Exalt, so I'm kind of like about to yell at this guy. All right.
He seems to, he's here training, the acolytes that live in his kind of claim of the 100 Kingdoms. And it seems to be kind of his joke to, want to include all of you in that. And so you all kind of begrudgingly like, oh, okay, 1,000 Eyes, okay. Walk over to your dummies. And we're going to do a quick how to do combat in Exalted lesson for our players / characters. So, the way combat works in Exalted is you start by rolling for initiative. And to do that, you choose the attribute and ability you would like to use for that.
Can it be any ability?
I believe you can, depending on the situation. So this situation would probably be, let me just double check that's correct.
It actually kind of depends on how your character fights on some level and what your like major abilities are. So
Okay.
like if you're more of like a finesse fight, like I'm going to roll sagacity plus finesse because I am a spellcaster, and there is no reason for me to roll like close combat because I don't even own a weapon.
Okay.
But then somebody that does want to use a weapon would probably roll, ranged combat plus, whatever their main ability is, etc.
Thank you.
That's a satisfying sound, right?
Great.
So you roll the skill, the ability itself.
Yes, so it's still called Join Battle for those of you who know a little bit about Exalted. However, like Dixie said, kind of determined it's what you roll is determined on how you like to fight. So I imagine Augie would do something with physique,
Or
close combat.
Yeah.
Imagine Lev is
Force,
probably
I think.
similar. Cyrus, I think you should get a bow and arrow, right?
Yeah.
So you do, I think it's finesse and range combat. I'm not sure how Athanasios fights, but whatever they think would be the attribute and ability they would use.
Ranged combat plus finesse. It's not my top of attributes or abilities, but I have my floating turret gun type things, so I don't feel like losing a limb. I just replaced my knee.
Oh, fair enough.
Do ones explode?
Tens would, but I don't think they do for joint battle.
Oh, I have to roll above 7. That's right. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm playing too many different games.
No, totally okay. I know you have been. But yeah, I do not believe tens double in joint battle.
I don't think so, but don't quote me on that. I know the Discord is already like, every time that I say anything, they're like, Dixie just said this, and I'm like, I'm not an expert. I haven't memorized the book, y'all. I'm doing my best, all right? Like, Monica is the expert.
3
Okay.
successes.
All right,
Ooh.
2.
Oh, 6, sorry.
So 6. Okay,
I had 9 die pool.
nice. Augie and Lev.
I got 1 success.
Okay.
2 successes.
All right. Well, so the Promise had the highest successes between all of you and the enemies, the other side, the mechanical dummies. So that means your side, your team, is going to go first. And the way that works, so the Promise will go first, and then the Promise will then decide who goes next, and then so on and so forth. So similar to Pugmire, where the players choose who goes next in initiative order. You can, for some reason, if you like, choose the dummy to go next if you want, your enemies to go next. Of course, you'll probably want your team to gang up on somebody first and then let the enemies go. But there might be a tactical reasoning why you'd want to mix in the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the Promise is going to go first.
So because I was blindsided by this, I'm going to start by taking a focus will action.
Okay.
That is how I build up what I use to cast spells. So I will be rolling Finesse plus Sagacity again. Default difficulty 3 for this, so anything above that difficulty adds to my will pool. And that's just me explaining sorcery to everybody. So that adds up to my will pool. I can hold up to 10 will at a time, but any extra ones or the leftover ones they go away at the end of the scene. Now, what I can do in the future is I can do a focus will action in our downtime, so that I have the will already ready for when we have to fight. But this will be a moment where, you've probably all seen this. She, takes a step back. Her anima flares a little bit, She's a little creepier. Her pathmark bleeds a little bit. And she gains 4 will. So I'm going to mark that on my sheet.
And for
initiative, right? So
so you would choose who goes next. For those of you who are not spellcasters, you can do a similar action return if you like. It's called Build Power. So we'll kind of go over that real quick as the Promise thinks about who they want to pass initiative to next. So for those of you who played the Exalted game we played recently, that was all about doing initiative, quote unquote, initiative damage. And where you were in initiative and how much initiative you had determined how much damage you could do on your decisive attacks. That has changed. So as you can see already, initiative is, as Dixie said, popcorn based, where she gets to choose who goes next. Clearly, you don't have an initiative number tied to your anymore. You now have something called power. And you gain power kind of the same way. There are still withering attacks and decisive attacks. And you'll make withering attacks to gain power, which you will then spend on decisive attacks to do damage. Mm-hmm. And don't worry if you're a little bit confused or you're not sure, or this is your first time playing Exalted. We're gonna go. This is why we're doing this. In game, this is kind of fun, your mentors kind of messing with you thing. But out of game, this is so each of you can kind of learn how combat works. So going forward, you can be a little bit more confident, and we don't have to take this time during kind of like a intense boss battle. I don't know how to roll damage. Don't worry, we're gonna do that right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, promise, who's next?
I'm going to pick Athanasios because I think they also have to build some power before they can just strike.
I like this game.
Also, somebody asked in chat, so I'm going to see this real quick. Somebody asked if there are still shaping rituals for sorcery for Exalted Essence. Shaping rituals are a thing for sorcerers and necromancers, have a specific way they cast their spells, and that actually adds will to their spell, to their will pool. Mine is called Half Souled. I actually forged a small portion of my higher soul into soul steel, which is why I'm holding this thing. So if I use this while I cast spells, I gain an extra will. So this is kind of this is literally part of my soul.
Nice.
And it's soul steel. It's black. It's shiny. It screams a little bit if you get too close to it.
So do I.
But it's my soul, so it's okay. As opposed to Lev, who's made of God knows whose souls. Anyway, go ahead.
I too scream if people get too close.
You should have been a soul steel alchemical.
A what?
A soul steel alchemical, like Lev.
Okay, so you had said something about building power. Before I make a move. Yes?
No, so your regular withering attacks, which are your every attack you can do, basically, that builds power while you go. So you want to build power so you can make a decisive attack at the end. You can just attack with whatever you want. Or you can build up stuff to cast a turn.
I like the idea of building up, but I'm not quite sure how to do so because this is a very, very new system for
That's
me.
okay. You literally just attack, or you can take a build power action, which I think adds how many power? Do you know, Patty?
It adds 1 power plus any additional successes over the difficulty 3.
Yeah, or you can take a build power action, which is kind of what I just did to focus will, where you take an action to just build up your power and you don't actually attack, but that gives you more power to attack with on your decisive attack later, or it builds it up quicker.
That.
Okay. So you will roll, and your fighting style is you shoot your guns, right?
One of a few things I do, yes.
That and charms. They're all ranged,
Yes.
though.
Okay. Yeah, so you would then roll ranged attack, or I think that's what it's called. It's not close combat, it's range combat.
Yes, range combat.
And an appropriate attribute you think would go with that.
I would like to use force with that.
Okay.
If possible.
Sure.
Because force is more than just fisticuffs now with Exalted Essence, as I understand.
Follow me.
Leave it to me to only do one success on a 7 die.
Oh no. Okay, so your build power was you'd only get 1, I think. Gain 1 power plus an additional 1 for each success. Oh, but that's difficulty 3. So I don't think you get any, unfortunately.
Oh wait, you said it was a difficulty of 3?
Mm-hmm. So you need to get 3 successes.
Oh. Okay, and the threshold for dice successes is 7.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, I only got 1 success.
So it's kind of like this moment of taking out your guns, and they kind of float there a little bit, and you're like, okay, and you're just because they kind of operate on their own, but you forgot to activate the command word. You're like, oh, duh.
Oh, those ghosts
All right.
must have touched my weapons again.
Damn ghosts. Alrighty, so you still do get to choose who goes next in combat.
Ferret.
Okay.
So
Keep him away from my ears.
You mean Cyrus, though, right? Because the ferret can't fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Cyrus is also
Ferret
kind
can
of
totally
ferret.
fight. It's just tiny bites, tiny claws.
Doesn't do any actual damage.
Steals your socks.
Vaguely irritating.
Yes, vaguely irritating.
Have you ever been bitten by a ferret before?
So Cyrus is just going to reach out and grab out of nowhere his bow, which has these wonderful, intricate moons, or looks like these moon swirl tattoos. And he's just going to one
Okay.
shot after another, because like we said, I have that that's part of my artifact to be able to shoot a second as a flurry
Okay.
with no dice penalty.
Well, no, that's fine. All right, cool. So we'll do the first attack, and then we'll resolve the second attack. So are both going to be withering, one decisive.
One withering, one decisive.
Okay, so start with the withering attack. So you make your dice pool, which is range combat plus what
Finesse.
speed you're using? Finesse. All right,
Finesse.
perfect.
It's gonna be 5 dice for me.
And then if you have any other bonuses from your charms or merits or the artifact itself, I don't know if you will or not.
It gives me to the decisive attacks +2.
Okay, but this is a withering, so
Yes. All right, that is 2 10s and a 7.
okay, so that's
And
5
two that don't
successes. So that's 5 successes.
But you get 10 again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
perfect.
say, and
Yeah.
I get to explode those two. So
No, it doesn't explode. It's just doubled.
Yeah, it's
oh, it's
just
just
counts as
doubled.
two.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so yeah, 5 then total.
5 successes, and then we apply the target dummy's defense, which is 2, so make that 3 successes. Then now you're gonna make your damage pool. I'm sorry, since it was withering attack, those successes you have, those 3 successes, are now added to your power. So you have 3 power, which you use for your decisive attack. So you roll your decisive attack now. So it's going to be the same dice pool you used before.
With much worse rolls.
But you
1.
get +2 on decisives.
From
Yes.
your artifact.
Oh,
So
+2 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. That makes a big difference because that was another 3 successes.
Nice.
Okay, so what's the total?
4.
4? Okay. So you already attacked it once, so it's down to 1, so that's 3. Okay. So you have those 3 successes, plus the 3 power you have, is the damage you're going to roll.
So 6.
Make sense? Yep. And then if there's any bonuses your artifact gives you, or your merits or your charms.
That's all just great. That is 4 damage.
So 4 successes.
4 successes
Okay.
for damage.
4 successes. So now I'll apply the soak of the target dummies, which is again 2. So that's 2 of those. So 2 damage gets through, and so the first arrow kind of puts a little dent into the target dummy, and Thousand Eyes is just kind of like, "You can do better than that." And your second arrow goes into it, and that dent is now a hole as the second arrow is stuck inside the target dummy. Still is alive; it still stands, but you're looking good. All right. Who would you like to go next in the initiative?
Oh, let's have Lev go.
Okay.
Okay, so Lev, seeing that it's time to start, wants to get a good hit in. So, then makes an attack. So I'm going to kind of take a step back, and I want to find like a fence line or a post or something, and bounce my back into it and act like it's flinging me off of it with extra speed, and build up an extra run and come in with like a running lariat into one of the things. So like I hit the ropes, and it shoots me forward, and I come in with this big clothesline into it. So I wanted to do a rush combat movement. As a simple action, the character moves one range band towards a target. So this would be from close to melee, or I'm not sure. I can't remember the terminology. I apologize. One range band towards the target, then makes an attack with 3 dice bonus. This can be part of a flurry if the character cannot rush a target she moved away from on the same turn. So because we're starting kind of away, hitting the rope, then coming back in. Alright, so that's going to be a finesse and a close combat. That's 8.
And I'm assuming you're going to start with a withering attack?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
3 extra dice for the rush.
Okay.
And
for describing it so well, I'll give you a stunt, so you got 2 more dice.
2 more dice for that. And my close combat finesse excellency. When purchasing this charm, choose an ability. Spend 1 mote. I spend a mote.
Spending a mote. Okay.
I'm doing.
Spending a mote on the targeting dummy. I love it.
I'm doing the thing, man. We're doing the thing. I'm doing my stuff.
This is good. But I want you guys to kind of see everything you could possibly add as bonuses. So that way, when we are doing combat for realsies, you're ready to go.
So we have 5 motes at Essence 1, correct?
Correct.
When it says spend, that goes away until I get them back. It's a sign is when I can put it in something but then take it back, correct?
If you commit it.
Commit, I apologize.
Yeah.
Okay, so spend means I'm down to 4 total motes. Okay. All right.
You'll get it back before we play again, I'm sure.
Yeah, you may add close combat. How many extra dice? Outside of combat, add that. Wait.
Hello, Goblin Cave TV, rating us.
Thank
So
you
good to
for
see
the
you.
raid. We're doing our
new-
very first combat, and most of the players are very new, so please bear with us while we work out the intricacies of Exalted Essence combat.
How many
But
extra
hopefully
dice?
the next 3 episodes will go
Yeah.
Yes.
faster.
How many extra dice for this excellency, Dixie? I apologize.
Oh, what's the excellency in?
Close combat finesse.
So the higher of your close combat or finesse dots. So either you add, so I think they're both 4.
They are both 4.
So you're gonna add 4 dice.
So that's 8.
That is how
Sounds like
excellencies
we're
work.
getting close.
That's
Sounds like we're getting
8.
close to. Remember, the dice bonus maximum is 10. It sounds like we're already about to hit that maximum bonus.
No. 8.
No?
8 is my attribute and ability.
Right, plus
Okay.
4.
3
is
from rush.
Mm-hmm.
That's
4
7.
from your excellency.
4, 5,
Then-
6, 7. I'm at 9 extra dice.
Did you include the stunt dice?
Yes.
Okay.
8 from my stuff, 3 from the rush, 2 from the stunt dice,
Okay.
And 4 from your excellency.
and then
Yep.
4 from my excellencies. So that's
This is the first truly exalted roll of the.
It is. I'm excited. We got one night 1. I'm excited.
I don't have enough dice.
Roll them twice.
I
Roll 'em twice.
am. I have 3 extra dice after this roll, so that's where I'm at.
I'll take a minute to admire my blown glass cup that my godmother got me.
There we go.
It's pretty sweet.
It felt very exalted, so I put wine in it.
Yeah, it's amazing looking.
It looks
All right, we'll pull
fantastic.
10s out. It's a lot of 10s. It's 9 and 8.
Dixie, question for you from the chat.
I
Do stunts
saw, I'm
count?
looking.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm doing my best. Stunting.
All right. My total is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 successes.
Yeah, you hit it. And we minus its 2 defense, and so you now have 9 power,
I have 9 power, and does that exceed
which you can
its...
use. Well, that's what you get for your withering attack. So your next
Right.
decisive attack, you can use that 9 power against it.
So if and you can do that immediately, right? As a, not as a flurry. Once a withering crosses a certain threshold, don't you immediately get a decisive attack? Or am I misremembering that?
I do not think so.
I don't think so either, but I think you can flurry it into a decisive if you want to.
So that is a question that I had. If I decide to flurry, is it not supposed to subtract 3 from both of my dice pools?
It is.
Okay.
It
Flurry.
is, but that would still reduce your first one to like 7.
Right. That's what.
Even if you took away all the successes.
So it seems like
you'd
that's
still be
something you
fine.
need to declare beforehand. So.
Yes, it is. However, we're all new, and so I think that narratively we can like do certain things or fudge certain things just to
Okay.
make them work. But if you want to make sure we're presenting the rules as written like best you can, then go for it. Also, as far as stunting goes, it doesn't say it doesn't count toward the dice cap, but that might be something that we will clarify during or after the Kickstarter, because as always, we get a lot of good comments during our Kickstarters about things that aren't clear.
Okay.
So it's possible that will change. As of right now, it doesn't say it does. So, or
Okay.
it doesn't say it doesn't count.
Right. Okay. So
Double negatives. Very helpful when
Yes.
you're in Abyssal. Abyssals love negatives.
Just to move this along, I will bank my 9 power and I'll decisive attack next round.
okay. All right. Who would you like to go next? Either Augie or
I think
Augie.
just Augie.
It's Augie.
Or the dummies.
Yeah. Or yeah, you can have the dummies go before Augie.
I do like bad guys more than I like Sean. No, I'm just kidding. Augie.
So Augie punches Lev. Augie was eating salty potato crusties, and out of a little bag, which he balls up, hands it to the cat floating over his shoulder, who's just like, "What the hell? I'm a cat. I'm not a garbage disposal." Who then like brushes off his hands and like rubs the crumbs off his stomach, puts his hands in his gauntlets, and then just clanks them together and initiates his iron fist, which makes his unarmed attacks heavy weapons now. So I spend 1 vote, and then I can choose whichever ability to attack with, right? And then
Whatever works for the scene and the ability, yes.
right, and then match whatever attribute I want to it.
Yeah, but for punching, you're probably doing close combat and not physique or anything, because you're not like doing a
Right.
stunning show of your own body. You're punching
Right,
something.
close combat, and then I can do like fortitude if I wanted to.
You can do fortitude. You can do force, which is
Right.
probably the most straightforward because you're punching it. But yeah, either way.
Okay, and then so that's Jesus. That is 5 plus 4. That's 9 dice, and yeah, just could go and run and punch this thing.
That's
All
pretty
right.
normal for your like major ability and attribute. Like if I roll
Yeah.
sagacity and finesse, it's always going to be 9 dice because that's my major thing. So
2, 3. That was how many dice was that? It was 7. So roll. You said 0 or 10s are double, right?
Correct.
I rolled 2 7s and 4 10s. So
the 10 successes. Good job.
yeah, 10 successes.
Okay.
You are an Exalt. You are the chosen of the unconquered sun.
So then we apply the target's defense, which is only 2. So you
Okay.
have 8 successes remaining, which that becomes then you have 8 power, which you can then use in your next decisive attack.
Cool.
So next time you hit it, you're going to obliterate it.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, this thing is not going to be. It's so it is now all the targeting dummies' turns. They will all slowly kind of roll forward and just kind of have like this, like kind of gear machined, just like punch that comes at all of you. It's probably not going to hit any of you, I don't think.
I took a big step back, so I'm not sure I'm even in range.
That's a miss.
Okay.
So I rolled no successes. One success against Athanasios. What is your defense?
Ooh, not guilty.
Sorry.
Sorry.
It'd be either your parry or evasion,
Ooh, let's see here.
whichever one you'd like to use.
Where is that for me? Where?
I may have missed some of this on some of the sheets, which I'm now worried
Up where
about.
your armor is, equipment and
Check
combat
the third
values.
page.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was all at the same time. What? Oh, defensive 4. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So
Soak
the
of
one
6?
success. The soak would matter if I got through your defense and then rolled damage, which I did not. Only rolled one success. So the machine just kind of like lurches forward and throws out a punch, and you just kind of like sidestep it pretty easily. These
I
training
just
dummies
replaced that shoulder 2 weeks ago. No, thank you.
no training dummy has ever been invented that is actually any match for an Exalt.
Except the alchemicals.
Yes. Okay. Except maybe this training dummy. Cyrus, what is your defense, either parry or evasion?
5.
Okay, I rolled 5 successes. So since that is a tie, it does not get through your defense. So you are fine. However, the blow does land against you, and you're like, that might bruise. Maybe. No promises.
These aren't supposed to actually touch me. Get it away.
Okay, Lev, what's your defense?
6.
Okay, the 2 successes does not get through your defensive 6. And Augie, what's your defense?
7.
Okay, the 1 success does not get through your defensive 7.
Just not.
All right, so that is all the combat dummies. It is now your team's turn again. I think it goes back to the promise each time, right? At the start, then the promise can change, or
Is it traditional popcorn or is it?
oh, so would I choose then?
Yeah, if it's traditional popcorn, you choose them. But honestly, since I don't usually run games, I've spent the least amount of time with the how to run this game chapter.
Fair enough.
I usually just let Monica tell me what to do. So
I'm gonna say then I'll just choose one of you guys at random. Lev, you go.
All right, since we've already kind of talked about this dramatically speaking, now that I've run in and I've hit it with my running lariat, it's stunned, and when I hit it, I'm going to hook it around the collar, swing behind, take the waist lock, lift it up, and then twist it, and I'm going to just drive it down into the ground.
Is this the fulcrum?
As much as possible. Oh, the fulcrum. I'll have to come up with what the fulcrum actually is.
All right. So this is not the fulcrum.
This is no. This is like a squash match. I don't use my actual real finishing move in a squash match. You save those for the big matches. All right.
Gotcha.
Okay. But it is going to be a decisive attack that I'm slamming this thing to the ground. Not an official grapple yet, but yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that later. There are rules for that later. But yes, so you'll roll the same type of dice pool you did for your withering attack. So an attribute ability plus any bonuses you get from a weapon you're using or merits or charms.
I'm not going to spend a mote on this one. Or I will. I shouldn't I? I'll spend the mote again. Why not?
It is getting towards the end of the session.
It is getting
our
towards
first
the end
game.
of the
You
night.
might as well.
Spend all of the motes. Guys, spend all of your motes. So that's 8 for my abilities, 4 more from my mote. Did I get any stuff for the suplex, or I'm just going to roll?
You know what? Yes, I'll give you another stunt for that.
One more stuff die. There we go. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 successes on the decisive attack.
Okay, 8 successes. Minus the 2 for its defense gives you 6. So you add that plus however much power you'd like to use.
9.
So you're going to just use all of it. Okay, so that gives you 15 dice you're going to roll.
Okay.
And then any other modifiers you might have that say, you can add to your damage pool.
I might have something deep tucked in my charms, but I'm just gonna let it.
Okay, so roll the 15 dice.
All right. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9.
9. Okay, it had a soak of 2, so that's 7 damage it's taking, which is enough to completely obliterate this dummy. Would you like to describe how you do that?
Yeah, so I've got it hooked under the waist, right? And I lift it up, and instead of just doing like a kind of like that German style, I actually hook up underneath like its leg and get like a little bit extra leverage, and then do like a teardrop suplex and drop it straight on top of its head, crushing it like into its shoulder as it lands. And you just see the arm and shoulder just smash together and just, what is it made of, wood and metal, I assume?
Yeah.
And you just splinters and metal bends and cracks, and a rivet like shoots off and bounces off of the back of Augie's head.
Yeah, it's almost like an aluminum can in a crusher. Just kind of. There's not much left that would tell you this was a training dummy at one point. Thousand Eyes just kind of looks at you and he's just like, "You're replacing that." All right. Lev, who would you like to go next?
I want to see a spell, so the promise.
Okay. Promise you're up.
The promise is going to take another big step back, and I'm going to spend 4 will and use my little soul stone while I'm casting this. The promise kind of sigh and look at Thousand Eyes like, really? You're going to make me perform for you? That's what we're doing? Fine. And I'll spend a 4 will, and she kind of just twitches her hand and does this, and a guillotine appears in midair.
Yes.
And then she points her finger, and it whips at the neck of the training dummy. And
Awesome.
I will spend my money. I get accuracy bonuses, range combat. I'm gonna spend so many dice. Now my extra will can actually be used as power, so this can be a decisive attack.
Okay, and I'll even give you stunt dice too for that.
4. Okay, wonderful. 5, 6. Let's roll some stunt dice. 7, 8, 9. 10 successes.
Woo woo. Okay, so this is a decisive attack because you can use that as power. So that gets the 2 soak it had. So that's 8 damage coming through. So that's absolutely enough to destroy this target dummy. Would you like to describe how the flying guillotine? Is it just a simple beheading, or we got more?
Oh yeah, no. While she's standing there looking just very bored and very put out by this, she just kind of flicks her hand around a little bit. Her anima flares a bit, so she gets just blood and a little hint of bone kind of coming out of her. Her cast mark has a little fresh blood that oozes out of it, and she just points her fingers, and the guillotine just takes the head off the training dummy.
It's just kind of this like
really?
Thousand Eyes just like the head flies off. He catches it with one hand. He kind of looks into its training dummy eyes, and he looks at yours and just like, not much difference. And he drops on the ground. Who would you like to go next?
I would like Cyrus to go next.
All right. I just would like to ask one thing because I forgot to get this done just before when we finish the attack. Can I use a reflexive action that I should have done at the end after I defended?
Sure.
So after having defended from that hit, where it's not allowed to touch me, I will just burst step back using my ability Mongoose and Cobra Escape, where after I successfully defend against an attack, I move one range band back as a reflective action as long as I spend one mote.
Nice. All right. So where Cyrus was, just kind of a little dust cloud of his of the shape outline of his body, and then suddenly he's about 100 yards away, right by the edge of the gate.
At which point, then I'm going to take a quick shot with the Withering attack so that I can gain some power on this.
Okay.
So I'm rolling 5 dice again. And get 4 successes.
Okay. I'll give you 2 power.
And then I'm going to be using my resonant feature from Twistic Tactics, which is my move that I did where I had the flurry. After using it, I may move an extra range band away from my opponent and then make a decisive action when they stop and spend 1 mote so that I may add 3 successes, add equal successes to the number of range bands I am away from my opponent. So since I have now moved 2 range bands away, I automatically will accrue 2 extra successes.
Okay.
In addition to my 5 dice
nice.
for what I'm rolling. And that is 4 plus those 2.
Okay.
So
you
that is
do another 4 damage to it with the damage you've done to it before. The last 2 arrows just sink into this dummy, and with the force of that second arrow, it's actually enough to just kind of make it fall over on its back.
I was figuring I'd just have Robin Hooded it, same spot twice.
Okay. Absolutely. Just kind of boom, boom, and it's this really quick moment of just you move back, fire, move back again, and you just put all this distance between everyone. You just kind of have to shout to the rest of them, "Got him!"
Your turn, Athanasios.
Oh. If I must. I was busy reading. And Athanasios will slam their book shut. And when they slam their book shut, their fire guns burst into existence. And they look kind of like they're floating on a pillar of words, like ink written in the air. And they look like they're written in a very dark, congealed blood, just floating there. And they look directly at the training dummy and go, "This is what you get for interrupting my reading." I'm going to... I don't know if I can spend a mote on using an artifact to my devil casters.
Does it say in your artifact to spend a mote to use them?
Yes.
You don't... Okay. I don't remember what I wrote for those, so.
Yes. 1 health level or 1 mote. Since it's ending of game, I will spend a mote to do such thing.
Okay.
And
So does it allow you to go straight to making a decisive attack, or do you still need to do a withering attack to get power?
Withering to get power.
Okay. Cool. I'll give you 2 stunt dice for your awesome explanation of how your guns look. That was awesome. So you will do your range combat plus finesse for shooting your guns. Unless are they magic based, Pixie? So could they use like a magic ability?
They actually have a fire dust, I think is their thing they are loaded with, if I remember correctly. So they are loaded with like a physical thing. Flame
Okay.
flame pieces are guns in Exalted. There's devil casters and there's dragon Psywans. Dragon Psywans are your rifles. Or devil casters are your pistols. They are essentially mini flamethrowers. But past that, they are a typical like gun. They just have extra things they can do. And in Ever's case, the extra thing they can do is float in midair, so that Ever can do other things with their hands while the guns are firing on their own.
Okay, so yes,
Like a crossword puzzle.
Yes.
Like a crossword puzzle. So yeah, so do range combat plus finesse.
Alrighty.
Sounds like a decent chunk of dice there.
Okay. An 8, a 9, and a 10.
Okay, so 4 successes. It has 2 defense, so you have 2 power.
Sweet.
Sweet. Alrighty, who would you like to go next? I think it's just Augie left, right?
I believe so. Augie, it's your turn. Maybe after this we can go get snacks.
Snacks. And with that, he clamps his hands together, does like the double fist over his head, and then comes down on this thing, which I got 9 successes, by the way, so enjoy. Which causes it to bounce and slam into the ground. It hits so hard it bounces in the air, and then he does an uppercut, waits for it to come down, and then does the perfect what is it called? The excellent strike, so that he can time it. Spin 1 mote on step 3, which it did. Double the extra successes after applying defense, but before any bonus successes are applied.
Okay, so defense is 2, so you take away 2 of your successes.
Okay, so that's 7.
And you double that, it said?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's 14.
Yes.
Don Solar's hit hard.
And I assume this was a decisive attack, yes?
Yes, this was to obliterate this thing.
Okay, you effectively had like the amount of like destruction in this, like for 14 successes on this chain dummy, like you can describe pretty much anything you want, and I'll say this.
He does all that, and he waits for it to come down, and he punches it, and there's just a flash of light, and it disintegrates from just the force of the punch.
Thousand Eyes just like looks at the pile of dust that's now at your feet, and he looks at you, and he's just like, not bad. You could improve your form a little bit.
Not bad.
You're
That was
lucky
great
You're lucky he didn't use the lava powers.
Yeah,
We had to talk about that. Last time I lost my favorite tree.
You
looks
had a
over
favorite
like the dead
tree?
flaming tree.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like the trunk is like still there. It's like ashen. It's like, this is your reminder to never use the lava powers.
Dead
Actually,
things
yeah, I
are
have a
just as
question.
beautiful as living things.
So about the exploding lava
Exactly.
powers, it says spend 2 anima. Are those just I spend them?
Your anima will build up as we fight and do other
Okay.
things. There are
Oh,
various
my
ways
anima.
to gain
Yeah,
anima,
right.
and then there are different effects you have. So like your dim anima effect is kind of always happening. Then your other anima effects happen as you build up your anima. So like a solar at bonfire anima, which is 10, will literally like you can see them for miles. Like you are glowing, you are aflame, you are, reaching sparks into the heavens when you're at bonfire. That's part of why Exalts are so bad at hiding. It's because you have this anima thing.
No, I'm a very bright shadow. Just shh.
What if you're an exalt with stealth powers, and every time your stealth power activated, you just glow more?
There are definitely things that help with stealth to make that like mitigated. But yeah, like there are Dawns especially aren't super stealthy, aside from I think one of the casts who's a little bit more spy-like. But Solars aren't stealthy. Like this is a
They're just not.
speaking. But yes, all of us have animas. They all look different. They're all described in the book, and they all flare differently. And if anyone needs more help with their anima descriptions, I can do that. But I think they're on all of your sheets. Like I think yours ever is like flesh and soil and creepy shit. Mine's mostly blood and shadows and bones.
Mine is actually very shadowy.
That's because you're soul steel.
Yeah. Is that all the training dummies?
Athanasios.
Athanasios. I can say it when like we're not whatever. Athanasios has their training dummy in front of him still. So I'll just go ahead and they miss. Okay. Time to do your decisive attack and end this poor training dummy's career.
Excellent.
About to end this dummy's career.
Oh, okay. So the 2 power adds 2 dice to the roll.
So you'll do that will add to your damage. So first you'll roll just your range combat plus your finesse, plus any other bonuses you might have.
Roll. 1 success out of all those dice.
Luckily, you've been attacking this thing over and over again. You have wore down its defense enough to get through it. So roll the 2 power you have, plus I'll give you just an exalt. So use your training dummies bonus. So roll 4 dice total.
You're being too nice to me.
No, we're having fun.
You're an exalt against training dummies. Like, you're just unlucky with the dice so far.
An 8 and a 9.
Okay.
That 2 damage is enough to mark off its 2 health boxes it had, and the 2 your flamethrowers just focus on it and just keep the flame just washes over each training dummy until it's nothing but a puddle on the ground. Thousand Eyes is like, okay, all right, enough.
This was your idea.
I understand. Okay, you know what? Just because I don't have, other exalts at my training temple like I had before, back when you were all young, for you to train against, doesn't mean you shouldn't take your training seriously.
Do you miss us? Is that what it is?
Pretty seriously.
Of course I don't miss you. And he kind of like turns around, like stumps away over to his little garden, and he just like fidgets with like the tomatoes, and he's just like.
I
turns back around.
I can give you a piece of me.
Taking pieces of yourself away, you'll have nothing left soon enough.
Oh, you're right.
You do always make my garden grow better.
Give it back, Mavash.
I want to pick up the training dummy that I slammed. That's missing like the head and like its shoulder and arm. Caved in.
It's essentially a manhole cover now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want it to have just at least one arm left, so I'll kind of like pick it up and I'll like raise its arm up and just do like a. He did really well. Good job. You did fought well.
Lev, I see you've not lost your flair for the dramatic.
There are other students here that aren't exalts, right?
Oh yeah, but everyone else here is not exact. Everyone else here is not an exalt.
Did they start to peek and look and see like? What
was absolutely. On? Yes. No. Seeing the 5 of you train is like a rare treat for these acolytes. Like, you guys haven't been here for months, so some of these people don't even know who you are, and the ones who do know who you are, like they'll never be as good as you. You guys are like Goku, and they're just like random person that in Capsule City.
So do these guys all count as extras as far as?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Would they give an arm and a leg to see it again? I could use some of those for later.
I'll just kind of like unconsciously grab their like arms and like kind of like hug themselves.
Oh. All right.
Thousand Eyes kind of like stump back up. He's like, I forgot how bad people you are. Come on, let's go. And he kind of leads you to the main building of this kind of small compound.
I look not longingly, but like I look for a while at the training dummy and I'm just kind of like compare it to myself.
cousin of yours, Lev?
They're not sentient.
They could be.
They're
I am.
not-
He is. They
they're
are.
not.
Yeah. You
If
fought
they
well.
were sentient, they would stand here and get used.
That is fair.
Clunk. Just thinking possibilities. Onward.
You are
Thousand
full
Eyes.
of possibilities, Lev.
We all are. We only need to untap these possibilities and find inspiration.
Thousand Eyes leads the five of you into the main building and kind of motions. There's a large, this appears to be the gathering hall. There's a large table, and he kind of just pokes his walking staff at the table, indicating you all should sit. He goes over to the nearby cooking fire, and you see him kind of take out from his robe like some tomatoes and some potatoes. Like he goes in the kitchen, finds some meat, and just starts all stirring it in the cooking pot. And just like, "We'll have dinner with me tonight, and then you'll grant an old man one last request, and we will go on an adventure together.
Thousand Eyes, you know I like you.
And you know you're one of my students."
If you give me one more order, I'm going to sever your soul. I will do
I don't
things
doubt that
ask
you would.
nicely.
You're right. I'm sorry. This is not so much an order as it is asking a favor of my
Former student.
choose
You
choose
were
the word over and like
chosen by gods.
doesn't want to like spit it out, but is like favorite students.
Former.
As long as I'm breathing, you will always be my student.
In your mind, sure.
And you see his anima flare briefly. Very bright, very dawn-esque. And it kind of simmers back down. And just goes back to chopping up potatoes and throwing them in the soup. About 30 minutes or so pass. The stew had already been boiling. These are just the last few ingredients he wanted to add. Serves out. It's, nothing fantastic. But for those of you that can eat, it is sufficient. For those of you who do not need to eat, you just kind of stare at it. Even he does serve a bowl to all of you, regardless of whether or not you eat.
I was going to ask for just an empty bowl. I would enjoy a bowl. Just the bowl, please.
He always fills it up, no matter what.
Oh, that's sweet.
I would like to try some. I recently got a new digestive system, so I should be able to enjoy this.
What did we talk about, Athanasios? Do not talk about new digestive systems at the table.
Oh,
Other parts, yes. That part, no.
oh,
Yes.
Are you
And
ashamed?
it's just kind of-
Are you ashamed of your ability to digest?
No. It's just, a quiet dinner. He's the same. He's never been a man of many words. He's someone who has seen a lot of things in his. Through the years of knowing him and learning from him, you put together that he is many hundreds of years old, maybe many thousands of years old.
Interesting.
It's a quiet dinner. He motions to the connecting hallway. Your beds are in there. I made them up like usual. And he kind of, stumps off to presumably his room.
Did he seem crankier than normal?
No, he
Absolutely.
actually seemed like nicer than usual.
Oh, then I rephrase. Did he seem nicer than usual? I know we've gone off on our own and we're working as a circle, but
maybe he is dying.
I just kind of turn and look at the promise. Just.
Can we watch?
I wish to have a part of him to remember him by.
Can't ask that until after they're dead. You know that, Athanasios.
I know, I just like to be
But
prepared.
if you ask it when they're alive, they get really weird.
Okay, I'll wait till he has passed.
You can ask his ghost.
I think I will. What are your thoughts, Lev? Augie? Cyrus?
Oh, you didn't smack Augie for breaking it. Even complimented him.
Maybe we should just ask him.
I find
Okay.
that's the best way to deal with death.
Is he still like fumbling around?
No, he stumped off to his room. He did say in the morning he was gonna, ask him to take him out on last quest.
Just want to yell up, "Hey, Sensei, are you dying?"
Aren't you? Isn't that one of your things?
Can't one of you with a familiar have them go watch what he's doing? You can see through his eyes.
It's true.
Yeah, sure.
If you
Mavash
send some Avash.
Send the
Okay.
cat.
Mavash
and,
will just.
Put the cat and the ferret together. Just.
Well, they can go on the rafters or something where they're not seen.
Oh no,
Once
Mavash is
they're-
just gonna crawl
they
under
go
the
up-
door frame.
Or they
The
go
ferret
up.
riding the cat.
You hear them go up the stairs, and you just hear the cat like, "Rah, rah," and then like they fight for 2 seconds, and then just like animals do.
Mavash
And
is able to
then-
get into the room with Thousand Eyes. You see him just kind of, go about his room. And, he washes his face, disrobes, and you actually see him go over to his armoire, essentially, and open it up. And in it, you see a perfectly polished set of armor, and the armor, all over it are the sigils of a solar exalt. He kind of just looks at it, deep sigh, closes it. Then he he's already put his walking stick down, so you see him like noticeably limp pretty bad to the bed, and then kind of gingerly get in and just roll over and fall asleep.
When Mavash comes back out, Cyrus will just say, "Oh yeah, totally deathbed last stand. Definitely gonna happen."
Well,
Is this one of those sad times or one of those joyous times?
Death is never a sad time. It is to be savored and experimented on and watched. It is pleasing. It is the end of a cycle. Unless you're me, I guess.
or me.
You're made up of many deaths.
Oh yes, without them I wouldn't be alive. Death
So
gives way to new things.
I look to the two non-death cultists. Okay. So any opposing viewpoints?
Augie, he has a fancy set of armor you might be interested in when he dies, so you
That
might
is
want to make sure he wills that
incredibly
to you.
rude.
What if he wished to be buried in that?
Augie goes upstairs, opens the door while knocking on it, just kind of leans in. "Hey, Thousand Eyes, you dying?
Oh, jeez.
He
Is
just
that, is that what's important?"
you can tell that he was sleeping, but he's obviously like the breathing's changed. He's awake. Without rolling over, he's like, If you ever ask another stupid question like that, I will ring your bell.
I don't have a bell, but
Get the hell out of my room.
I don't think he's dying, guys. Goes downstairs.
Always falls for that.
For a solar to die of old age would be a great feat indeed. He would have to be poisoned or otherwise encircled, which he doesn't seem to be, aside from the fact that he's being slightly nicer than usual.
It just means whatever he's gonna have us do is gonna suck.
Is it his birthday? Did we miss his birthday? Does he remember his
Know when his
birthday?
birthday is?
He was born.
But we're certain he's not dying.
No, everybody's dying.
Like 80%.
Margin of error accomplished. All right, crisis averted. Good night, everybody. And
All right. Yeah. See you in the morning.
I will go to bed.
All right. So all of you go to bed.
Well, I do.
Well, I don't know what
No.
you do as.
I think all of us do, but I think that we all sleep very differently. Like I feel like Cyrus is all
Yeah.
curled up in a little ball, and like I just lay there like this.
I don't know. Do alchemicals like power down? What's?
Yeah, whatever you normally do when you go to sleep, when Augie and Cyrus have to shut their eyes for 8 hours, whatever the other three of you do. But it's kind of, you all rest easy as this is your home. These are your beds, these are your rooms. And you've been on the road for a while, so this is about as comfortable as it gets. Or it would be if it were not for the bells that ring in the middle of the night. The bells that signify an attack. The bells that signal alarm, and the bells that, if you're hearing them, most likely mean it's too late. All of you kind of unconsciously run to and get out of your rooms, and you all make it to the area you were in for dinner, the main hall. And you see about 50 armor-clad, dragon-blooded exalts. And one of them has Thousand Eyes on his knees, with a dagger to his throat.
What?
The hunt is on.
What
And they
is
slit his throat.
creation's largest wild hunt?
And that's where we'll end for the night.
Why did you do that?
He was dying, just not how we thought.
Alrighty. It's been a pleasure telling you the story, listener. We hope you enjoyed what you saw and heard as much as we enjoyed performing it for you. Let's hear it from our players now. Once again, your name, handle, character, and where people can find you.
Hey, everybody.
Oh no,
Hi.
Ever will start. Go
What?
for it.
What? Oh. Hey, everybody. I'm Ever. I have enjoyed playing Athanasios this evening, and you can find me all over the internet as Changeling Ever. And the next game I will be in is tomorrow evening. Fallout with the amazing, adventurous Sean, aka Space Lord PJs, right here. No, on Vorpal Tales.
Yeah, wouldn't be here. We don't make fun.
Oops.
We do make Dystopia Rising Evolution, which is also post-apocalyptic and very cool. So.
Hello, everybody. I am Steve. You can find me on the internet at Voodoo Arcade. Tonight I played Inspiring Application of Technique and Leverage. Lev. And yeah, you can also find me tomorrow on Vocal Tales channel. Tune in, hang out.
I'm Dixie Cochran. You can find me at Dixie Cyanide on all social media. A lot of y'all know me just from the Discords and everything because I work for Onyx Path. You will see me all over the place on Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for the launch of the Exalted Kickstarter, and also for the next 3 Tuesdays on here as we continue this story, and I get to keep playing my wonderful Abyssal, and we get to actually get into the meat of the story. So more of like an introductory session 0, so thank you so much. We also, of course, have Onyx PathCon coming up, June 11th through 13th. where Vorpal Tales will be hosting some games, Onyx Pass will be hosting some games, we'll have games hosted on Dork Tales, and all over the place. I can't remember all of them, there's too many. Plastic Cage Plays, Devil's Luck, all kinds of people that we work with. And then I'll be in a lot of panels here. Also, this is kind of a first time I'm announcing this, tomorrow night, in the OPP Discord, we are planning on playing some Exalted-themed Jackbox to get hyped for the game.
Okay, that's pretty awesome.
That's super cool.
There are a few of our fans and a few of our raiders who have made Exalted packs. We probably won't stick to those because that won't fill up like 3 hours, but we should be around from 7 to 10. I'll make sure I announce it for real tomorrow. But Monica and Ray Cole and I have all been kind of talking about this today. And then a few of the mods from the Exalted fan Discord have generously given me the codes to their Exalted packs. So we'll be doing some Quiplash with Exalted prompts, and it will be weird and wonderful and possibly not safe for work, but yeah.
Awesome. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Hello all and goodbye all. My name has been Devin and I have been playing Cyrus and the familiar Mavash. And next time you can see me will be on Saturday for Necrobiotic over on with Dwayne.
Hey there, everyone. I've been Space Lord PJs. I have played most August Rising Sun Fist, Augie, and yeah, like Ever said, I'll be running Fallout tomorrow in Vorpal Tales.
Yay! Is that at
Awesome.
9, like most of your games are, or is it earlier?
Yeah, 9.
Okay, yeah, so come play Jackbox for a couple hours and then go watch Fallout. It's great. It all works out.
Awesome sauce. I have been Patrick, _. I encourage you, please check out some of Vorpal Tales' other shows, which include, we're starting our second season of the Contagion Chronicle, No Time for Reality, on Friday, which you should totally check out. That's another Onyx Path awesomeness. That'll be at 5 p.m. on Friday. And then the next time you'll see me will be Friday after that, starting at 9. We're starting our Ravenloft game and with 5e rules. And then, of course, next week, back here, same time, same place, watch more of this awesome Exalted Essence game we're running. That's going to be for the Kickstarter. That starts this Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll tell you what,
days.
everyone should fight to be the first backer. If you can prove to me you're the first backer, DM me either in the Vorpal Tales Discord or on Twitch, and I will give you subscription to the Vorpal Tales Twitch channel. So, incentive: go out there and back the Kickstarter because it's going to be amazing.
And
All
if
kinds
it
of
is one
awesomeness.
of the crew, I will find out, and so the first fan who backs it, I will let you know. If
Boom.
sometimes we get the jump on it because we already have the link. So like, if it's one of us, I'll just find the first fan who backed.
Boom.
Awesome.
Extra incentive to, make sure you're smashing that button at 2 p.m. Crash Kickstarter, guys, because that's how awesome this Kickstarter is.
I'm so excited.
All right, since we are going to continue this game through a couple more sessions, we're going to do a vote tonight. So, true fans, this is where we vote. Our players are each going to nominate one another, but you, the audience, can as well nominate someone you thought was fantastic tonight. We'll tally everything up, and we'll say, a free moat next session? Sound good? Sound good.
I would say 2 free power in our first combat, or a free, either way.
Or that. I like that too.
Well, oh jeez. I feel like I say the same thing every time. Oh jeez.
jeez.
I'm going to have to give it to Dixie for multiple reasons.
Is it because I lost the contact of my eyeball and cut myself like 50 minutes before the stream?
I wasn't gonna say that.
Oh, I will
On
say
stream
it. All of
and-
this makeup happened after 8:45 because
Yes.
I cut myself and lost a red contact in my eyeball. So
Yeah, major props to Dixie for pulling together such a badass cosplay when her day was so rotten. I'm so sorry.
it was fine till 8 o'clock, and then everything
Also,
exploded.
I believe someone in chat pointed out your body language was exquisitely creepy. I absolutely loved it. It reminded me of a character that I played before, Kiliok, and it just made me so happy.
And see, I thought you were gonna recognize it from Zilka from Changeling, because that's pretty much what I'm channeling.
If Silka was made into an abyssal, yes.
But yeah, thank you so much.
Me? Oh, jeez. I'm going to begrudgingly, as always, give it to Sean for the description of bouncing the dummy off the ground, shooting it up into the air, waiting, and then obliterating it into nothingness. That was rad.
Thank you.
But we have to shout out Dixie's cosplay and the fact that she got that together so quickly. It's awesome. But yeah, there's a shot.
I haven't voted yet. I can vote unless Sean has to vote next.
Yeah.
I think we were going
Dixie's
go ahead,
going
Dixie.
for order officially.
Dixie, go ahead.
I'll go. I'm gonna give it to Cyrus for the puns, aka Devin, because I have a dad joke level love of puns, and every one that you said tonight made me groan and want to die, which is what I want
Completely
out of a pun.
in character.
Like that is exactly what I want out of a pun, and also it's kind of what I want out of mine and your character's relationship. Is I want you to be constantly having a good time and me to be constantly exasperated by it. So no, that was fun. I'm gonna give you my vote tonight.
Alright, perfect. I'm going to give you the vote right back because previously ripped contacts awfulness. And just because, yeah, they're right. You creepy death motions very nicely.
I used to work at a haunted house.
I will vote for Steve because he made me laugh with wrestler impressions.
Totally.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, all those moments and more were quite amazing tonight. We hope you enjoyed our story. We look forward to seeing you in the future to continue this tale. Until next time, may you bathe in the light of the first age. Stay safe, stay awesome, stay adventurous, make good choices.
Oh yeah.